he set out included this.
No evidence, let alone sufficient evidence, has been presented to prove that I committed any violation, let alone a serious violation of the Constitution or the law, or serious misconduct as set out in the Constitution. As a consequence, I decided then to approach our courts to take the report of the independent panel on review.
Take the report of the independent panel on review. Well, today in Cape Town, the president has done just that. Papers have been filed. What do they say? Details coming up after 4. As the city of Johannesburg scrambles to keep water in the pipes and water in your taps and tar on the roads to fill all of those potholes, the regular explanation we get for slow or no progress on this sounds something like this. Money too tight to mention. Well, why then does the city's latest budget, to be delivered tomorrow, make provision for lots more senior managers and many more board members for metro entities? Alex Patrick at News 24 has written a detailed account of this budget. She joins us shortly. After that, Julia Fish joins us from Outer. After 5 o'clock, that'll be looking in more detail, not just at this budget, but at budgets before that, looking for patterns. We have approached the city to join us in this conversation. Hopefully the answer will be yes. China is changing its tariff approach to African countries, much more favorable opportunities for many African countries to now send their products into the Chinese market. Crystal Alderson is our regular guest with the Africa Focus. She's with us with the RMB Africa Focus at 10 minutes to 5, focusing on changing Chinese policies and the opportunities that might present. And as we always do with every show, this show will end it with music. And today we've got a question for you. What song for you says that was the 90s? Something like this, perhaps? That's okay, 'cause I got no self-esteem. Do you have a favorite singer or song from the 90s? Start sending those to us. We'll collect them all together and talk about it at around 20 to 6. Complete turnaround on the markets today. There was talk of peace yesterday, and the markets smiled. Well, tensions between then and now have ratcheted up substantially again between the US and Iran. And so the JSE All Share is down by 515 points, 515 at the moment. I can tell you it was a lot worse this morning, so something of a comeback, but not good, and certainly not stellar and encouraging the way the markets were yesterday. Data Tech down by 8.3%, Pick and Pay off by 7.7%. Coronation is down by 3.5%. There are some winners out there, with the oil price up by $2.30 and trading at $99 now for a barrel of Brent crude, having got somewhere closer to 94, I think, this time yesterday. Sasol, unsurprisingly, having a good day, up by 5%. Thungela, which supplies Sasol with coal, doing even better, up by 7.6%. And South 32, also a player in the coal mining space, is up by 5.4%. Not much movement in the rand, really, compared to 24 hours ago. 16.35 against the dollar. That's a 3-cent shift, nothing much. A euro will cost you 19 rand and 3 cents, and 22 rand 3 will get you a pound. Stephen Curtis joining us with all the market news at 25 past 4. We'll get sport with Anthony Teixeira. You heard him a moment ago. Sundowns fans, by the way, before we hear from Anthony, if you are in Tshwane in the streets of Pretoria and the bus has come by, what's it been like celebrating that extraordinary triumph of Sundowns in really hostile circumstances against AS FAR in a packed stadium in Rabat in Morocco? So Sundowns very much their day in the sun and the sunshine, and the sun picking up the gold on a splendid trophy. If you've been there to witness it, give us a call. You can send us a WhatsApp, but I'd actually rather chat. Let's get you live on 011 883 0702. Of course, traffic in Pretoria, I'm sure, affected. Karabo Chale will let us know all about that. He's waiting for his big Buccaneer parade, so he can also disrupt traffic and celebrate his team. And Zingisa Chirwa back with us at 3:30 with the very latest news headlines. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. And if it's happening in 702 land, we'll bring it to you as soon as we can. Hopefully first, but there's stuff that you get to hear about before we do. That's just the nature of news these days. Maybe there's something happening in your neighborhood, in the place where you work, or simply something's coming down your grapevine, which is very different to mine. Either way, wherever it comes from, if you've got something to tell us, please do. 072 7021 702 or 011 883 0702. 702 Drive, it's 14 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
Yeah, it's tough out there, adulting and being all grown up and having jobs and paying taxes and fixing things in your house, etc., etc. But we were all young once, very much younger, and little things can take us back into the past, including a particular treat, sweet, snack, crisp, cool drink, whatever it might be. What is that thing that can just take you way, way back, that was just your gotta-have all-time favorite from when you were a kid? She's got this 1,000-yard stare. What's taking you back to Velkom like that?
Sure. Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. There's just so many. There's so many.
Okay, so you're trying to figure out which one.
Yes, there's just too many. Okay,
right.
So the first one.
Give us a couple.
Let me give you a couple. Okay, the first one, this just reminds me of my late dad.
Okay.
So whenever he used to fetch me, he would buy me this lollipop with like a rainbow. There's just so many colors on it.
Okay, so like a flat one.
Yes, a flat one. And
okay.
it was bigger than my hand.
Yes.
And I know he'd always say to me, don't tell your mom. And I would go tell my mom, say, Mama, guess what Dad bought me? And they'd get into a fight, but he would not stop buying me that. So that was always my favorite. I knew whenever Dad was around, man, that lollipop was one of them. And then the second thing, it was Friska. I remember the cool drink.
Friska, eh?
Yes, nothing refreshes like Friska. That was my favorite as a child. And knickknacks. Okay. I always remember that from the adverts. You know, sometimes you see these adverts, John, and you want the stuff. They don't necessarily taste amazing, but because the adverts make them cool, that was my childhood. Friska, that massive lollipop, and knickknacks.
So your dad was not really geared up for concealment, because those lollipops, if I'm not mistaken, you get bright red lips and knickknacks. No matter what you do as a kid, you could never get the orange off your fingertips, eh?
What his logic was, to be very honest. Maybe he thought they would disappear, because even it would also, I'd offer him sometimes, and then he'd also have some of the colors on his hands, on his tongue. So I think my dad must have just liked the don't tell your mom. Let's see if this 5-year-old can keep a secret, which I couldn't, to tell the truth. But you know what? Great memories.
He didn't mind. Nobody minded. Okay, so we got Friska, knickknacks, and the flat multicolored lollipops. Karabo Charlie, what takes you way back?
There was this round red sweet, which was called a fire bomb.
Oh, yes.
And it was like literally a fire bomb when you put it in your mouth, and then
straight away.
Yeah, no, it was hot, and while you're just sucking on it, it becomes sweet, and then eventually it becomes a chewing gum.
But did you ever get to like finishing it?
No, definitely. I get
other kids struggled with it. They would spit it out because of the cinnamon fiery taste. There was cinnamon.
I would go all the way until we get to the gum, and then the Cadbury also played a big role. There was different kinds of
the different chocolates.
Yes, like the Holy Molies. I would put it's like little rings of chocolate biscuits, and then I'll put it like in between my fingers, and then I'll have it. Yes, then also mashwam. I don't know if you know mashwam. It's slang for the leftover chips, mazimba, those soft ones.
Right at the bottom.
Just like the knickknacks, but those ones you leave your fingers red the whole day.
Yes, and the mamas would sell those on the side of the road, I remember.
The
vendors, for like 20 cents or whatever price. They would be the cheapest. Yes, I remember
100%.
those. Oh, yummy.
Okay, Calvin says there was a cool drink called Mellow Yellow from Coca-Cola. Wix Bubblegum. Wix Bubblegum comes up as well from Tracy, who also refers to Sky High. I can't remember, Sky High Lollipop. Refers also to a shop called Dick's Sweets, which used to have suckers, but they were in the shape of dummies, and they were absolutely enormous, as I recall.
Oh, yes. Different colors.
I don't think I ever got one of those, but anyway.
If I find one, can I buy you one?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was being nice.
I appreciate it. I know you're being very nice, but it would be absolutely wasted on me. Not my thing at all. More of a chocolate guy, me. 702 Drive, sweet street snacks that remind you of your childhood. And, of course, if you've got a lovely story to go with it, the way Rifuwe did about her dad picking her up at school, by all means, chuck that in. MacTosh says, candy cigarettes. Yeah, I remember those, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Licorice balls. Mac's starting to fill up his basket and his memory bank unloading into the shopping basket. Keep those coming on 072-702-1702. 19 minutes past 3.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Right, let's find out what's happening out in the traffic. Do you need knickknacks to pass the time, or you can just get straight home, eat something a little bit healthier? Karabo Charlie, how are we looking?
Well, I must say, not looking too bad at all at this stage. No major delays have been reported, but however, we have a few delays here and there. Let me start in Germiston, where there's an accident scene N3 South before the Elands interchange, and this is causing some delays all the way from the Galdenes interchange in Amalgam heading into the Joburg CBD. There's slow-moving traffic on Main Reef Road between Production and the M2. On Dersteport, Pretoria, roadworks still causing some delays. This is on the N4 eastbound between Bravery Road and Dr. Swanepoel. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
Clement Maniatella,
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What do you want government to do then? Must they overhaul the constitution? Because if you block foreign nationals or undocumented foreign nationals from accessing healthcare services, that violates the constitution.
No, definitely it does.
So what do you want government to do then?
The way we've done this, it's not that we just rushed and mashed yesterday and now want these demands. We've written numerous memorandums to government, even to the president himself on the 28th of April. We were marching in Pretoria and we haven't even received a response from the president's office.
Sanele Kambule, National Treasurer of March and March.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Mzansi Powerball and Powerball Plus have skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping 207 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday. Don't get left behind. Play Powerball for an estimated 107 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 100 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in-store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Today, standing out in the job market is more important than ever. Postnet and Huru are here to help you succeed. Did you know that many organizations require a criminal record check before hiring? From educators to retailers, drivers to lawyers and more, Postnet has you covered. From just 335 Rand, add a Huru criminal record check to your CV and stand out from the crowd. Visit your nearest Postnet today. Postnet, helping you succeed.
It's game day, and the family's facing off against the Snotties and Flemmies. Dad's down! Blocked sinus and mucus is gaining ground!
New game plan. Let's bring in the ACC team.
With ACC, Mom's got the winning play. Entering the field, ACC helps break down mucus and clear the airways. Choose the winning team when you're facing Snotties and Flemmies. If it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
The Trade, Industry and Competition Minister, Park Stow, now publishing draft changes to the Automotive Production and Development Program.
From a production perspective, definitely something that looks to tackle some of the challenges we're seeing in the domestic environment, effectively looking to incentivize one of the highest value components in the type of vehicles that we're starting to see consumed en masse globally.
Renee Mutial, the CEO of the National Association of Automotive Components and Allied Manufacturers.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by Absa Business Banking. Today's customers expect payments to be instant, simple, and secure. And businesses that adapt stay ahead. Discover solutions built for SMEs and the future of African payments. Visit absa.co.za/business to learn more. Absa is a registered FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, I'm sure you've heard me say before, I am not surprised, but I am shocked. And that was certainly a moment I had today when I was on the News 24 site. News 24 Metro reporter Alex Patrick has been going through the draft budget for the city of Johannesburg. The budget speech will be delivered tomorrow. It will be debated on Thursday. If it's adopted, Joburg will have a new budget starting, I think, from the 1st of July. What has really absolutely stunned me in this, because we are regularly told the city doesn't have money to fix the water properly, to mend the roads quickly, effectively and sustainably. But in the new budget, municipal entities, and there are a number of these, City Power, Joburg Water, just to mention a few, there are currently 70 board members, and 68 contract employees, so 138. That will increase to 385 positions. There are currently 330 positions for municipal manager and other senior managers. That will increase to 790 positions. Alex Patrick, a very good afternoon to you. And this is tough reading. I'm sure it wasn't much fun writing, but the information is important. Does the city in any way explain why its most highly paid positions need to be expanded at this scale? Good afternoon to you.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you. Yes, it is a very disturbing reading. The city did not respond to our queries, and they didn't ask for an extension, so not really. But what they have said was that these are committees within the board, which doesn't really help much, because at the end of the day, there is still a huge swelling of these board members.
I mean, to go and say, well, we've created committees within the board. I mean, that's. I don't even know what to say about that as an answer, because the total number of people, presumably board members, cost us the ratepayers' money.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know how that remuneration is calculated. Is it a per meeting basis? How does it work?
I believe, there is a breakdown here of how many of them will be permanent staff. So this won't be per meeting. These will be people who are on, permanently on the staff. I believe there's going to be permanent would be 299 employees in that case. Receiving remuneration every month.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of money. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other crucial numbers. Our heads of municipal entities earn a great deal of money. I'll give people a couple of examples. The head of the Joburg Property Company is on 5,497,553 rand. Don't miss the three at the end. Joburg's Roads Agency, 3,100,000. Pick it up, 4,464,709. The head of Joburg Water, 3,800,000, almost 870,000, 869,000. Are those numbers going up as well this year?
Yes, those are increases.
And
there's about a 7% increase in total.
And those are all agencies that are absolutely battling, I think it's fair to say, to deliver on the services they have to deliver. Is this going to go through, from what you know of the balance of power in the council, Alex Patrick. Is this likely to be some dissent, but by the end of the day, Thursday, this will be the city's budget?
I believe so. It all depends on where the strength lies, as you've just said. But at the end of the day, it's strength in numbers. And so far, it looks like it will be passed. At the end of the day, if it's unfunded, which means that there's not enough money coming in to support the budget, it won't be technically a legal budget. So I don't know what happens after that, but I do foresee that it will be passed.
And just finally, I want to return to the senior managers. We are seeing an increase of from 330 positions to 790. It's more than a doubling. Do you have any idea what's going on here? I mean, a skeptical view would be this is people very uncertain as to whether there will still be jobs available after the next local government elections. So let's get in while we still can.
Yeah, I actually share that skeptical view, but without them actually giving us a reason for this, we don't know officially.
Well, there's a lot to still dig and find out. We'll return to this after 5 o'clock, but thank you, Alex Patrick, News 24 Metro reporter. Of course, if we can get the city on, maybe there's a valid explanation for this, but certainly an increase in senior manager positions from 330 to 790. The explanation will need to be pretty good.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
26 years now, when the crisis first erupted in Zimbabwe, when Robert Mugabe, by all accounts, lost that election. What happened? We looked the other way. We feted Robert Mugabe as this hero of Africa, even as he dismantled that country block by block, piece by piece. And so when there was a flood of Zimbabweans into South Africa, what did we expect? Even now, Emmerson Mnangagwa presides over a virtual dictatorship. So when we find our fellow Africans flooding into this country, why on earth would they listen to ministers saying, up your game? We and our leadership have been a part of creating this monster.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Catch the Springboks live at Ellis Park this year. Lions fans, it's time to roar. Get ready for a season of pure adrenaline in the heart of Josie. Secure your all-inclusive Lions membership starting from just 950 Rand. That's right, less than $1,000, which unlocks your seat to every Lions home match at Emirates Airline Park. That includes the one you've been waiting for, the massive clash between the Lions and the All Blacks this August. Don't get left at the gate for the biggest game of the year. Memberships are available right now at Ticket Pro. Own the season, back the pride, and get behind your team, the Lions.
Tax deadlines don't have to result in penalties. With the 31 May employer submission deadline approaching, avoid lastminute.com. Submit your accurate Employer Reconciliation Declaration, EMP 501, on time using EasyFile or e-filing. Employers, make your tax matters your priority number one. Submit by 31 May 2026. Go to sars.gov.za. SARS, at your service.
Mom, I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Oh, really?
I want to be an astronaut.
An astronaut? Aren't you aiming a little high?
Well, that's where you come in. I need you to buy me Pediasure. It has 27 vitamins and minerals to support my growth so that I hit all the milestones, and it's scientifically proven.
Okay, Miss Clever. Where can I buy Pediasure?
It's available at pharmacies and retailers in South Africa.
Pediasure by Abbott. Approved by kids to fuel their dreams.
That's Liesel, before she got naked. Liesel checked her insurance premium and got angrier than the time a teenager called her Tunny. So Liesel got naked and got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds, all on the Naked app. There we go, Liesel. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
KwaZulu-Natal is turning up the heat this winter. Catch the Clement Manyatela show live from the launch of KZN's winter season campaign this Friday with the KZN Tourism and Film Authority. Discover what makes KZN the ultimate winter getaway. From the rolling green hills of the KZN Midlands to scenic coastlines, rich culture, unforgettable food and family adventures. Wozobona, it's showtime in KZN with the KZN Tourism and Film Authority this Friday on 702. Right, Zingisa Chirwa has the very latest eyewitness news.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The Special Tribunal has ordered the freezing of a luxury property in Alberton in Ekurhuleni linked to businessman Thapelo Buthelezi. Buthelezi owns emergency services company Buthelezi EMS. He is now prohibited from selling or dealing with the property. The order is linked to multi-million rand paramedic service tenders awarded by the Free State Health Department, which the Special Investigating Unit says were irregular. The contracts were set aside after more than 532 million rand was paid to 4 companies linked to Buthelezi. Earlier this year, the tribunal also granted an interdict to freeze a farm in Paris after Buthelezi failed to appear for a hearing. SIU spokesperson Selby Mahoto says he has also not complied with an earlier order to repay funds unlawfully paid to his companies.
The SIU investigation into Buthelezi's EMS contracts was initiated through Proclamation 42 of 2019. The Special Tribunal orders part of implementing the SIU investigation outcomes and consequence management to recover financial losses suffered by state institutions because of corruption and or negligence.
ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says his party, through government departments and law enforcement agencies, will pursue businesses that profit from hiring undocumented migrants at the expense of South African workers. Mbalula says the Department of Employment and Labour and other agencies, including labour inspectors, will act against enterprises found to be circumventing labour and immigration laws. His comments follow intensified protests in recent weeks, with some South Africans expressing frustration over what they describe as a growing number of undocumented migrants in the country. Mbalula was briefing the media on the outcomes of the ANC's National Executive Committee meeting held over the weekend. Gold One Mine has admitted it employed a man accused of identity theft for 14 years. The case came to light after an Ekurhuleni licensing department official, Freddy Letswalo, discovered the suspect fraudulently used his partner's documents to try to change ownership of her vehicle. Jabulile Mbata has more.
According to Gold One Mine's legal head, Ziad Hassan, the man worked as a driver and was vetted when hired in 2012, but systems then were not advanced enough to detect identity fraud.
I think things have changed from 2012 to now, and I think the level of sophistication in that process has increased. So I think the chances of somebody slipping through the net in 2012 would be greater than it would be today.
Hassan says the man was a diligent employee with no disciplinary record.
All accounts, he's been a fairly good employee in that time. He's never had any disciplinary issues. So us hearing about these allegations of potentially fraud or coming in with a false identity, it's a surprise. It's a very serious allegation. It's something that we intend to investigate fully.
His partner says she knew he was using the stolen identity of Isaac Masao and being paid his salary into a friend's bank account. Hassan says the suspect has since resigned after the company said it would investigate. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News.
And the French government says 7 people have died in connection with the severe heat wave affecting parts of Western Europe. Officials say 5 of the deaths were linked to drownings, as many people headed to beaches and rivers to cool off in the hot weather. Temperatures have reached record levels for May, with several areas in western France placed on orange heat alert. Authorities are warning residents to take precautions, especially near beaches where lifeguard services have not yet fully started for the summer season. And in your weather, Gauteng can expect clear skies tomorrow. Temperatures drop to lows of between 5 and 6 degrees and peak at highs of between 20 and 23.
Well, at this stage, if you are heading into the Joburg CBD, expect some delays in Amalgam on Main Reef Road. That's between Production and the M2 in Sandton. Traffic sluggish on Greyston Drive between Rivonia Road and Catherine Street. And in Germiston, there's an accident scene heading towards Katlehorn. This is on the N3 southbound before the Inlands interchange, causing delays all the way from the Galdenes interchange.
The top story in EWN. The special tribunal has ordered the freezing of a luxury property in Alberton in Ekurhuleni linked to businessman Thapelo Buthelezi.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
We don't know if the president is going to try and interdict the impeachment panel. So we don't know, as I understand it, if that part of the legal process is happening. What happens if he doesn't?
Well, if he doesn't, then they proceed in parallel. It creates the inconsistency that the panel report will be what is under consideration until such time as the review application is complete. I think we will have to wait and see. But if it goes forward in parallel, that is an inconsistent approach.
Professor Alex Farah
the
here.
Midday Report,
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Calling all aspiring radio stars. This June, 7:02 afternoons with Relebogile Mabucha is bringing back Youth Takeover Thursdays. If you or someone you know dreams of being on air as a talk show host, newsreader, traffic reporter, or sports presenter, we want to hear from you. A select few will shadow the team, go live on 702, and walk away with a professional demo. Email 702afternoons@702.co.za. with your details, the role, a short motivation, and send us a 1-minute demo. Applications close on 29 May.
The City of Johannesburg Executive Deputy Mayor, Councillor Loiso Masuku, invites you to tune in for the 2026-27 budget speech, theme Building Johannesburg Together, Investing Today, Securing Tomorrow. The budget outlines the city's plans to invest in Johannesburg's future. Watch live on the city's official social media platforms on Wednesday, 27 May at 12:30 p.m.
Oh, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers two options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual action, soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple action, pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
It's another girl.
Families multiply, fees shouldn't. With Ultimate Banking, you get support for every chapter. Get discounted banking for your spouse and give each of your children a head start with a Mega U account. Because as your family grows, your banking should keep up. Apply online. Your story matters. ABSA. Terms and conditions apply. ABSA is an authorized financial services provider.
Mzansi, Takealot's senior cards, and boy have you been shopping. To say thank you for all your support, we're bringing you the Thanks a Lot sale. Get up to 60% off must-have beauty, sports gear, latest tech, TV and appliances, everyday essentials, toys and more. To know you is to spoil you. Shop the Take a Lot Thanks a Lot sale from 25 May to 7 June.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg, you know?
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babise bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babise bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, hi. Mine was Toffolax. I loved Toffolax. It's Nimrod here. Good afternoon.
There also used to be sweets that they used to call funny faces. They're a bit like marshmallows and so on. I used to love those. And one thing I remember, where you used to take out bottles and you're waiting for that bucket to pass, where you hand them in then they actually pour you. It's either they pour on top of the t-shirt, or you used to have a scarfie where they can throw them inside. That's what I remember.
Hi, Dr. John. Beautiful show as always. This is Bileng from the bar. There was a sweet we called Kubabeke. It was this massive sweet that would last the whole week. Not literally, because as a child you just want to chow the whole thing, but we used to call it Kubabeke. So delicious, so wrong, but yeah, you taking me back. Thank you for a great show always.
As soon as you said it last the whole week, my eyebrows went up a little bit. And then you made very clear, well, no, as a kid, you made sure it didn't last anywhere near that long. No name to this one, but sherbet powder and playing house with fake tea sets. Pa! Okay, so clearly enjoyed that. I assume that's what pa means. Mactosh is giving us more Wilson's champions. Okay. And chappies. And David, here, there used to be sweet, cold, sunny faces. Oh, no, we've got that one. Thank you for that. That was sent through as a voice note as well. Maynard's sour balls. And then those ones that kind of look almost like peanut shells. And they've got a kind of a nutty thing in the end, a pale yellow. Thanks for that. Boy, Mac is just loading us. Sugus. Yeah, I remember Sugus quite well. Tima takes us down a very different road around treats. This is very more adult. But here's Tima. I'm 67 years old. I was born in a township, and once a month, my mom would take us to town for lunch at Capitan's. Capitan's was a fabulous restaurant close to the old Stock Exchange building in Diagonal Street. I used to go there often. They had the best samosas I ever tasted. I promised myself when I'm big and I would buy 20 rands worth of Capitan's samosas with my first paycheck. Sadly closed quite a few years ago, I think. 16 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira, very good afternoon to you. My Sandawana are having a day to remember.
Yeah, good afternoon, John. Very true. South African football has one eye on Church Square in the capital and the other at the Athlone Stadium. Like you said, Mamelodi Sundowns are set to arrive at Church Square in the next few moments. It's their final destination of this CAF Champions League parade. Meanwhile, the Athlone Stadium is hosting the first clash of the PSL promotion relegation playoffs. NFD sides Cape Town City and Milford are battling in that opener. And I can tell you that within the first half hour, we have seen Milford take the lead 1-0 as we head towards the end of the first half. Also confirmation that co-coaches the Kaizer Chiefs Khalil Ben Yusuf and Cedric Kaze will be departing the club following the end of their contracts. Let's move now to Stellenbosch, who have decided to stay the course with Gavin Hunt and sign him to a 2-year deal. When he joined the club in December, they were in the relegation battle and struggling for any sorts of rhythm. His experience came in and pushed them on, and they missed out on a top 8 finish by only 2 points. In rugby, the Springbok women will run out against Uganda in the second round of the Rugby Africa Cup Wednesday. They've handed more debut test caps. Shanique Alexandra as well as Zetsu Kaza will be getting a start, while Abigail Smith is in line to come off the bench. It brings the number of first caps to 9 for the tournament, having already seen 6 players debut in Saturday's win over Madagascar. Here's assistant coach Lauren Johannes Haupt.
We're really pleased with how our debutants performed in the previous game. As we say that, we're really excited to see what Shonique Alexander brings to the party. She has good speed and good awareness of we have the two locks, Abigail and Zetu, and those two are our under-20 girls. We're very excited to see where they are and what they can bring.
In tennis, a major upset in the first round of Roland Garros. 6th seed Daniil Medvedev is out. He lost a grueling 5-setter to wildcard entry Adam Walton. It's a first ever career victory for Walton against a top 10 opponent. And in the women's draw, world number 1 Arina Sabalenka, Emma Navarro, Donna Vekic and Eva Jovic have all picked up straight set victories in their openers. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
13 minutes to 4. EWN Traffic is brought to you by Sizekaya. The National Lottery is changing lanes and moving over to Sizekaya, your new official National Lottery operator from the 1st of June. Problems out in Germiston. Karabo Chale is with us now to give you the details.
Yeah, that's leaving the Bedfordview area, heading towards Alberton, Katlong area. There's an accident scene in Germiston N3 southbound before the Ilands interchange, causing delays all the way from the Galdenes interchange. In Amalgam, that's heading into the Joburg CBD. Expect some delays on Main Reef Road between Production and the M2, while in Sandton, heading towards the M1, traffic sluggish on Greyston Drive. This is between Rivonia Road and Catherine Street. Soweto, driving through Pimville, there's traffic pressure on Chris Honey Road between the UJ campus and Klipspruit Valley, while in Zakaria Park, south of Joburg, there's also bumper traffic on the Golden Highway between the R554 and Nirvana Drive all the way to Freedom Drive, and in Onderstepoort, the Pretoria roadwork still slowing down traffic heading towards Montana. This is on the N4 eastbound between Bravery Road and Dr. Swanepoel. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
More chances to play, more chances to win. That's the future of the Lotto Mzansi. Introducing Multiplay from Sizekaya. For the first time ever, you're not limited to just 6 numbers. With Multiplay 1, you can pick 7 numbers, and if you only get 6, you still win. That means more combinations, more excitement, and more chances to win big. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizekaya from June 1.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Anthony Teixeira, we've been talking about sweets, treats, snacks, chips, cool drinks. You take your pick that either the memory or if you can still find them, the taste takes you back to when you were much, much, much younger. What comes up for you?
I mean, the one that comes up for me is, I don't know if you remember this, there used to be marshmallow mice that had like a licorice tail.
Yes.
And every time I've had that, although I must say I haven't had it in a while, it sends me back to my youth. The minute that I just even open the packet, that smell suddenly gets there. Little apricot sweets.
Yeah.
Do you remember they used to, those were good. Those were so good.
So I've been on the look, and I've discussed this on the show before about the absence of marshmallow fish in shops.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Which is similar to the mice you referred to. Now,
Yes.
people said you can buy bags of those, but they're too soft. You need them to be a little bit more chewy.
Yeah, so what you do is you open the packet and you have to let them breathe for a bit. And then it sort of gets back to that like old...
Oh, it does?
Yeah, where you could just hit somebody over the head and give them a concussion.
Problem is, how do you wait? Got to learn discipline, comrades. Give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 7021 702. Sweet street snacks, school drinks, cakes, whatever. Takes you back to a time when you loved this stuff crazily, but didn't always have the money to buy it. That was a problem. Your thoughts, please, on 072 702 1702. Still to come on the show, we are going to be taking a closer look at China changing significantly some of its policies on the African continent. They have created a no tariff regime for 50 African countries. I'm sure it's not on all goods, but it would certainly be on a significant number. And that's opening up all sorts of potential, some of it already being realized, but much, much more down the track. According to my guest at 10 to 5 with the RMB Africa Focus, I'll be joined by Crystal Alderson. That's coming up in an hour's time.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Right, let's go to court, in particular the Pretoria High Court, where I believe judgment has been reserved. This in the bail appeal of suspended SAPS Organised Crime Unit member Sergeant Fani Nkosi. You may recall he was denied bail in the lower court. However, they've taken it one level up and they're still trying to get him out of jail and out on bail. Very lively discussion in the court from what I could gather. I tuned in and tuned out, but my colleague Mongezi Koko was listening to every word and he joins us now. Mongezi, a very good afternoon to you. From the bits I was listening, the judge had a lot of questions. He was certainly engaged with Nkosi's counsel, Hendrik Potgieter. What were the key issues that were being debated?
A very good afternoon to you, Ndate John. Well, Judge Mokgina Mosopa was scrutinizing some of the submissions made by the defense, who, of course, presented before the court some of the reasons they believe their client should have initially been released on bail. Now, among some of the points of contention was the large amounts of money that Sergeant Fani Nkosi was found with. Now, this includes 50,000 rands in cash and over 300,000 rand, which was flowing through some of his bank accounts. Now, the point really that the Judge Mosopa raised was that of how can someone who says they allegedly earn only 16,000 rand per month be in possession of such high figures, and also really breaking down the defense's stance where they indicated that Fani Nkosi's finances are not really steady and that his wife is also a member of the TMPD and that she also doesn't earn that much, highlighting that this means he won't pose a flight risk. And some of the reasons that were provided by the Pretoria North Magistrates Court in the denial of bail was that Fani Nkosi poses as a flight risk and that there is a threat to his life given the high-profile nature of his case. Of course, this stance that was shared by the Pretoria North Magistrates Court was echoed by the state, who then brought forward some of those earlier points that they brought forward in the initial argument for bail, saying that Fani Nkosi is not being entirely truthful when it comes to the finances that he was found with. And then also another important note that came up, Dr. John, was the hundreds of rounds of ammunition that he was found with, including used cartridges. It also came to light that some of these used cartridges were found in his ashtray inside a VW Passat that he owns, and some were also found inside his bar. Now, this bar is at home, and it's important to note that this man claims to earn only 16,000 rands a month, yet has a bar in his home and several motor vehicles, and in addition to all of this, 350,000 rands found outside of his normal salary. Now, they then indicated that these used cartridges point to the fact that Fani Nkosi may have shot out that gun and not entirely shared the truth with the court. So as judgment was being reserved, Judge Mosopa was quite clear that he will go through all these submissions that were submitted and come out with a proper ruling. But it is also important to note that Judge Mosopa scrutinized heavily both the submissions brought forward by the defense and by the state, pointing to some holes when it comes to the arguments that were presented before the Pretoria High Court today. This does mean that Fani Nkosi remains remanded and is behind bars until that judgment is finally delivered.
Thank you very much. Mongezi Koko, EWN reporter, a comprehensive summary there of what happened in the Joburg High Court. Just looking up at a couple of TV screens, and of course you had Anthony Teixeira reflect on the fact that Kaizer Chiefs have parted ways with their co-coaches from this season. Khalil Ben Yusuf, Cedric Kaze, if you are a Chiefs fan or maybe just an observer of football, happy with the decision, the right decision? Give us a call and let us know what you think. 011-883-0702 and 072-702-1702. And if you were out there in Pretoria for the Masandawana Sundowns parade with their second trophy that they've won on the African continent, they are the club champions of Africa in the capital city of our country and celebrating in style, deservedly so. Maybe you were there. If you were, give us a call and tell us what it was like. 4 minutes to 4.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabota. 1 to 3 p.m.
What is the common mistake that people are making other than going to a specialist that's actually going to look at their skin?
So it's not perfected yet. And I want to say there can be a lack of clinical context. Never underestimate that AI cannot really fully assess your medical history, your hormonal influences, your autoimmune disease. You know, if you have some underlying autoimmune deficiency, transparency. And you know what? Even without AI, from a physical consultation, highly disciplined science, dermatologists, or even aesthetic medicine practitioners, they can even misdiagnose.
Dr. Judy Pretorius, who's a biomedical scientist.
702 afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
In a world that is continuously evolving, Africa is adapting, innovating, and finding new pathways for growth. R&B Africa Focus is back for its 5th season to unpack the conversations shaping the continent right now. Every week on 702, award-winning journalist Crystal Alderson takes a closer look at influential economies and emerging opportunities across Africa with insights from R&B experts and regional voices. Catch R&B Africa Focus Thursday on 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa. Make sure you watch the in-depth video series with episodes released weekly on Prime Media Plus. R&B, a leading African corporate and investment bank.
They say the early bird catches the worm. Great advice, unless you're the worm. Generic so-called wisdom doesn't work for everyone. So I settle for a financial plan that's one size fits some. Momentum accredited financial advisors take the time to get to really know your unique situation. Advice meets your context. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Still shopping around for a saving here and a deal there? Choose Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket, and save on deals like Sprite, Fanta or Stony soft drink or Schweppes soda water 2 litres, any 2 for 37 Rand. Yum Yum peanut butter 800 grams for 69.99, and Sensodyne repair or sensitive toothpaste 75 mils for 74.99 each. Valid until 7 June, only at Checkers.
It's time to get revved up. The Motor Select Rev Up sale is on, and we've got thousands of quality pre-owned vehicles at unbeatable prices. That's everything from city cars to 4x4s. Offer ends 30 June, so get to motorselect.co.za now.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Still to come on 702 Drive, we'll be chatting to lawyer Ulrich Roo. He's been having a close look at the papers President Cyril Ramaphosa filed. This as he seeks to challenge the independent panel report that was generated in Parliament way back when, it seems, their assessment of the Phala Phala matter. So what exactly is the President taking to the Western Cape High Court? What are his central arguments? We'll have a closer look at that, as I said, at about 10 minutes past 4. Still to come on the show as well, music. What song for you says, that was the 90s. If you've got one to share with us, send it to me, please, on 072 702 1702. That, and we continue to hear from you about the sweets, treats, snacks, crisps, whatever it might be, that the memory of or the taste of takes you way, way back into your childhood. Send those as well to the same number, 072 702 1702. It's 4 o'clock, it's news time.
This is EWN.
President calls Phala Phala inquiry intolerable as he heads to court, and Charlotte Maxeke repairs set to be complete by August. Good afternoon, I'm Zingisa Cherwa. President Cyril Ramaphosa says it would be intolerable and a travesty if Parliament were to continue with an impeachment inquiry into matters related to his Phala Phala farm while he's seeking a judicial review of the report on which the inquiry will be based. In a review application filed in the Western Cape High Court today, Ramaphosa says if the National Assembly does intend to proceed with a Section 89 inquiry, he will be compelled to seek an interdict to stop proceedings. Earlier this month, the Constitutional Court found Parliament had behaved irrationally in 2022 when it dismissed the report that Ramaphosa now seeks to be set aside. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa's legal challenge comes a day after Parliament announced it had received the 31 names of all representatives from 16 political parties that are due to conduct the impeachment inquiry. But in his affidavit filed with the court today, Ramaphosa says the panel, which compiled the Section 89 report, misconceived its mandate, misjudged the information before it, misinterpreted the 4 charges it was to consider against him, and strayed beyond these charges. Ramaphosa contends the panel, led by former Chief Justice Sandile Ngcobo, raised issues in the report that he was not given an opportunity to respond to. For this reason, the President says it was irrational for the panel to focus on an absence of explanations in its report submitted to Parliament. Ramaphosa further asserts that the panel relied on hearsay, a confidential Namibian police report, and an audio clip of which the veracity has not been determined. He says it remains unclear how these pieces of information were obtained, and the panel wrongfully treated them as evidence. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Judgment has been reserved in the bail appeal of suspended SAPS Organised Crime Unit member Fani Ngosi following final arguments in the Pretoria High Court. The state strongly opposed the appeal, arguing that Ngosi failed to provide a satisfactory explanation for more than 50,000 rand found at his home and over 300,000 rand allegedly flowing through his bank account. State advocate Trot Mphahlele told the court the money raised serious concerns, particularly as Ngosi earns an estimated 16,000 rand a month. But Ngosi's lawyer Hendrik Potgieter argued that the Pretoria North Magistrate Court failed to fully consider possible bail conditions before denying his client's release. Potgieter told the court Ngosi was effectively shortcut during the initial bail proceedings. Here's Judge Mokini Mosopa.
I'm to reserve this judgment, but I promise very soon I'll deliver the judgment. So once the judgment is ready, you'll be apprised of the date. My registrar will get in contact with you, and then that's it.
Ngosi remains behind bars until judgment is handed down. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi says they've been promised that the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital will be completely repaired by August. Today, Health Minister Motsoaledi, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana and Premier Panyaza Lesufi visited the hospital to monitor the progress of repairs. This follows the Public Protector's report that revealed that the project was delayed by maladministration, poor project management and underspending. The facility caught fire in April 2021, destroying parts of the building and the parking lot. Today, the Development Bank South Africa, which is leading the repairs, told government representatives that it's in the final parts of the refurbishments. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi.
We are informed by the DBSA that in August, that means in 2 months' time, all the wards here will be working. And in October, this parking lot in which we are will be open for use, and that will be the end of the project.
And an appeals court is expected to review a British judge's decision to spare 3 teenage rapists jail. 2 girls were raped in 2 separate incidents in Hampshire in November 2024 and January last year. According to reports, the teenagers shared the video of the attacks online. 2 15-year-old boys were sentenced to 3-year youth rehabilitation orders. The third boy, aged 14, was given an 18-month youth rehabilitation order. He was convicted for encouraging the second defendant in last year's incident and an indecent images offence. The sentences have provoked severe backlash, with many saying the case is extremely distressing. And in your financials, gold is trading at $4,514.86 an ounce. The rand is 16.35 to the dollar, 22.02 to the pound, and 19.01 to the euro. Brent crude oil is $96.14 a barrel.
In Midrand, there's an accident scene N1 South near Olifantsfontein Road, causing about a 30-minute delay in both directions. That's between Samrand and the Betlu interchange. And in Germiston, accident scene as well, N3 southbound before the Ilans interchange, causing delays from the Haldenays interchange.
And in your sport, the latest from the PSL promotion relegation clash between Cape Town City and Milford. IPL qualifier 1 between the RCB and Goodrat Titans gets started, and the latest from the first round of Roland Garros.
Gauteng can expect clear skies tomorrow. Johannesburg dropping to 6 degrees, peaking at 22. Pretoria 6 and 23. Vereeniging 5 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. President Ramaphosa says it would be intolerable and a travesty if Parliament were to continue with an impeachment inquiry into matters related to his Phala Phala farm, while he is seeking a judicial review of the report on which the inquiry will be based.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
on Sunday, 26 July. 7:02 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
702
Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 7 minutes past 4. Great to have you with us for the next couple of hours on 702 Drive. Coming up shortly, we're going to take a closer look at what's in the papers that President Cyril Ramaphosa has put before the Western Cape High Court. This in his bid for a judicial review of the independent panel's findings on Phala Phala all those years ago. It is, of course, back front and center after earlier this month, the judgment by the Constitutional Court that Parliament needs to go back and do all of that work again. We'll talk to lawyer Ulrich Roos, had a close look at what the president is putting before the courts, and he'll share his thoughts on whether the arguments put forward are sufficiently strong. That's coming up shortly on the show. Later on 702 Drive, we'll take a look at Chinese policy in regard to tariffs and African countries. And after 5, another look at the budget that's going to be put before the Joburg Metro Council tomorrow. Serious questions are being raised about what appears to be a substantial growth in not only the number of board members on city entities like the Joburg Property Company, for example, Joburg Water, and so on, but also a real spike in the number of senior managers. This in a city where, as we suggested earlier by playing you a little bit of Simply Red, the answer has always been money's too tight to mention when we inquire as to why the infrastructure is not being fixed as effectively, sustainably, and as quickly as many people believe it should. More on that coming your way after 5 o'clock. Something that I'm very keen to find out. I know this is really a long shot, but was anyone at any of Black Coffee's shows in London? He sold out not once, twice, but 3 times the O2 Arena, which is a massive venue. My understanding is it seats 20,000 people. So absolutely nailing it in London with a show that is getting great reviews. Anybody by any chance listening in London who might have been there, I would love to hear from you on that. And in a good patch for South African music, Tyler has made history by winning the Social Song of the Year at the 2026 American Music Awards. That's for her song Chanel. She also secured the award for Best Afrobeats Artist. She's been on a roll of a good number of years now, absolutely excelling on the global stage. So 2 South African artists really making us proud. 10 minutes past 4, sweets, treats, snacks from your childhood that take you back. Let's hear from a few of you.
702. WhatsApp John
On 072
702
1702.
Afternoon, Tate John and team. This budget of Morero it's like a last kick of a dying horse. They're gonna hire their brothers, sisters, aunts, all of them to be board members because they know they're losing power. They don't even have a mayoral candidate as the ANC. So it's the last kick of a dying horse. They're gonna loot for the one last time, last hurrah, like the last dance.
John and team and 702 listeners, good day. Talking about sweets and treats from the past, I recall growing up there was a what we used to call hou van mense, and it was a brown toffee sweet that looked like it might have been from the rejects at the sweet factory. Cost a couple of cents, but was absolutely delicious and was a good treat as a primary school scholar. So hou van mense is my one.
Hi John, this is Rachel from Pretoria. The sweet I used to enjoy that I miss was called Lekker Smacker. It was a caramelly kind of sweet and very sticky as well. Boy, I used to enjoy that thing.
Thank you. I mean, these are wonderful memories. And then in Mohammed's case, he's not only telling us what he used to love, but exactly how it needed to be eaten. Here we go from Mohammed out in Lens, who says, the Cadbury Caramello Bear. I would start by eating the bear's head and leave the tummy for last, as this was the part that had the most caramel. One of those kids who could go through this candy in a disciplined way was never me. 12 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
Right, getting busier, and Midrand is getting a little bit more complicated. Karabo Chale has all the information you need.
Yes, John, in the Midrand area heading towards Germiston, we received a voice note, issues, delays happening there. Let's hear it.
Afternoon, everyone. It's a quick traffic update. There was an accident on the N1 South just after the Olifantsfontein off-ramp. A truck and a small passenger vehicle in the middle lane, causing a lot of traffic in that area. The build-up almost to Samrand off-ramp. So if you're in that area, expect serious delays.
Yeah, at this stage, you can expect about a 30-minute delay in both directions. That's between Samrand and the Bethlehem Interchange. So if you're heading in and out of Midrand, rather use Old Pretoria Road or the R55 as alternatives. Germiston, also accident scene. N3 southbound before the Elands Interchange, causing delays all the way from the Geldenhuys Interchange in Amalgam heading into the Joburg CBD. Expect some delays. Main Reef Road between Production and the M2. Sandton heading towards the M1, also slow moving traffic on Greyston Drive between Rivonia Road and Catherine Street. Soweto, traffic pressure on Chris Hani Road between the UJ campus and Klipspruit Valley. Zakaria Park south of Joburg, bumper to bumper traffic on the Golden Highway between the R554, that's Nirvana Drive, all the way to Freedom Drive. And finally, in Pretoria on Dersteport, roadworks slowing down traffic. N4 eastbound between Bravery Road and Dr. Swanepoel. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
232,000 workplaces inspected, 24,000 of those employing 149,000 illegal foreigners. And you're seeing establishments employing people who are illegal in this country. It does grow frustration.
We mustn't undermine or downplay that frustration, but we also need to ask about what that data actually tells us. What are people actually saying? Is that people who don't have documents, who are still waiting on their documents?
Dr. Rebecca Walker, researcher with the African Center for Migration and Society.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Mzansi, Powerball and Powerball Plus have skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping 207 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday. Don't get left behind. Play Powerball for an estimated 107 million and Powerball Plus for an estimated 100 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
In the world of finance, manufacturing, and mining, automating business processes is a crucial factor in stimulating an organization's growth and bottom line. Zoe Projects and Consulting, a specialized process engineering and automation firm, offers comprehensive data and business systems analysis to optimize your company's processes, to save time, reduce costs, and better efficiency. Go to zoeprojects.co.za and get in touch with Zoe Projects and Consulting today.
That's Sia before he got naked. Sia had a bumper bash and had to reattach his fender using duct tape and a prayer. So Sia got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now submit claims instantly on the Naked app. No more arts and crafts for you, Sia. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Not every change feels like a choice. Some arrive as disruption. Shift Happens with Richard Sutton is a podcast about those moments where life moves first and you have to catch up. When certainty disappears, direction blurs, and everything familiar starts to shift. You'll hear stories from people who faced change, doubt, and pressure and found a way forward. Their stories give us confidence. Living vicariously through their experience gives us hope, and we learn from their journeys. Because what feels like an ending is often the beginning of something else. Shift Happens, weekly on primemediaplus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Powered by First Light, therapeutics for the modern mind.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's go down now to the Western Cape High Court, where President Cyril Ramaphosa has filed papers in his bid to have a court set aside the independent panel's report. And that independent panel, of course, looked as to whether he had a prima facie case to answer for over the Phala Phala scandal. So what is the president saying in the papers that he's filed? Let's get a sense of that, and welcome to the show Ulrich Roux, founder and managing director of Ulrich Roux and Associates. Very good afternoon to you, Mr. Roux. On what grounds is the president setting his argument out? He's saying, the bit I've read, the panel is wrong on a number of scores. What exactly is he saying they got wrong? Good afternoon to you.
Hi, good afternoon, John. Thank you for having me. Yes, so the president has launched an application in which he says that the Section 89 independent panel report is faulty and it's unlawful, and that the conclusions that it has reached that the president has a prima facie case to answer to are incorrect in law. He says that it's based on hearsay evidence, and that the conclusions reached based on that hearsay evidence cannot be relied upon, and he's asking the Cape Town High Court to assess the report and to determine whether it is lawful or not. In the process, he's also saying that the impeachment process, which the National Assembly has now, well, not yet embarked upon, but will imminently embark upon, should be halted pending the outcome of his application into whether the report is lawful or not. So, certainly an interesting application. We did expect this from the president, but I think disappointing in my view that the accusations that have been leveled against the president and that are contained in the independent panel report dating back to 2022 have not been answered to adequately by our president. He's relying on strategic legal maneuvering in order to delay the impeachment process, and one will have to wait and see whether the National Assembly is going to hold that process in abeyance, which, if they don't, will most likely trigger an urgent application to be launched by the president. So let's see how the National Assembly is going to react to this application that has been launched by him.
Is it conceivable, Mr. Roux, because while you were talking, a couple of things occurred to me. Let me start with the first. Is it conceivable that the court may say, well, yes, there were certain things that could have been done more thoroughly by the independent panel. Yes, there was some hearsay evidence, but a lot of digging has since continued. And let's now move to the second stage where if people can bulk up the hearsay evidence, that process itself should be allowed to happen. I mean, I'm just wondering if I could put it more concisely, might they concede on the president's points but not necessarily grant him the relief he wants?
Yes, remember that the relief that he wants is that the High Court must set aside that report. So
Yes.
It must look into the report and determine whether the report is lawful and whether the conclusions contained in it were obtained lawfully or not. So, it's not a case of certain recommendations must be set aside and other recommendations must be left to stand. So one can expect the court to either, if this matter is ventilated and there's the pleadings are ventilated in their entirety before court, the court will make a decision as to whether the report is valid or not. It cannot make a conclusion or reach a conclusion that only certain aspects of the report
Yes.
are valid. It's either all or nothing in this instance.
Is the impeachment process absolutely linear? And what I mean by that is, could they then say, okay, we're not going to go ahead on the basis of this report, but the Concourt has guided us in the direction that we must do a full and thorough inquiry as to what happened at Phala Phala, and therefore our impeachment inquiry process will substitute for the independent panel. Can they do that, or does the process specifically require that any impeachment inquiry committee has to work with an independent report first?
Yes, it does. That is what this report was, the purpose of it. And remember that the report was drawn up in accordance with Section 89 of the Act. So unfortunately, they will not be able to proceed with that impeachment process without relying on this report. And I think just so that the listeners don't get confused about this, remember that at the beginning of the month, the Constitutional Court found that the fact that the National Assembly had voted upon the implementation of the report and whether the impeachment process should commence, that decision by the National Assembly to vote on it was unconstitutional, and that the impeachment process should have flowed automatically from the findings as contained in the Section 89 report. So that is a completely separate finding and ruling as to what we are dealing with now. We are dealing with now the president who's launched a review application to set aside that report. So, interesting legal developments. I think that the president, once again, as I've said before, he's going to do his utmost to avoid having to answer to the allegations as contained in the report. And that is unfortunate. If he's adamant, as he has been, that he has done nothing wrong, then one would have wanted to see some transparency on his behalf and taking the South African society into his confidence to say, okay, this is my version, this is exactly what transpired, and this is why I'm saying I have not done anything wrong. But launching this review application is completely the opposite to that. And once again, I think that he has done this with a specific purpose and intention to possibly launch an urgent application which interdicts the National Assembly from proceeding with that impeachment process, which is not one of the prayers that he has sought in his application now. It is not the relief that he wants in terms of this application. This application is focused purely on the legality of that Section 89 report.
When the High Court in the Western Cape, Mr. Roux, has to sit down and consider all of this, are they strictly bound by what is in the independent panel report, or can they take into account all the other things that have been uncovered, scrutinized, adjudicated on in the period between the independent panel report release and now? In other words, can they say, well, there's this thing that came up in News 24 about this or that? Are they strictly bound by the document in front of them?
No, not at all. They can rely on any evidence which supports either side of the argument. The president can rely on any evidence which he feels bolsters his case for the setting aside of the report, whereas the three independent panel members who deposed to the report can also rely on any evidence that they feel is of relevance in order to determine the validity of the report. So it's not purely based on only the Section 89 report. All evidence would be admissible. It is, however, at the end of the day, the decision of the court as to what weight should be attached to revelations and allegations made in the papers. So, we will have to wait and see how they do respond to this application that has been launched by the president in order to say that the report is in fact valid, it was reached and compiled in a lawful manner, and that it should be relied upon.
Two scenarios. The president loses down in the Western Cape. Can he take that ruling to the Concord?
Yes, he will definitely be able to. He would first have to go to the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein, and if he's not successful there, then he would be entitled to approach the Constitutional Court. That's, in my view, that would be an unfortunate development in the matter, and one would like to see the president taking the South African public into his confidence and answering to the allegations. Let's get the truth out there so that we can move on.
And just finally, the president prevails in the court. What are Parliament's options?
Well, that theoretically they would have to go back to the drawing board and possibly reconvene a Section 89 panel to depose to another investigation and another report. And one would most likely see them do that.
Thank you so much. Ulrich Roux joining us from Ulrich Roux and Associates. His thoughts on papers put before the Western Cape High Court today by President Cyril Ramaphosa. I've no idea what the timeline on that matter is, but presumably that's going to all start moving fairly quickly. Just to share with you a couple of things, we continue to talk about sweets and treats and things that remind you of your childhood. But I want to just engage with this from somebody who at 21 minutes past 4 said, "Good morning, Clement." I assume they're not going to wait for Clement tomorrow, and I'll take the question if you don't mind. How does the National Lottery help charity organizations? This presumably in the light of what I read, just letting people know of the size of the 2 jackpots that are available today. Do they force the jackpot winners to donate to the charity organizations, or do they donate by themselves? So no, jackpot winners do not have to give any money to anybody, apart perhaps from family members who may twist their arm. But no, they do not have to put back into the charity pot. The size of that pot and where the money comes from is set down in law. So if you operate the lottery, a certain percentage of the money you get from everybody who buys tickets goes towards prizes, and a certain percentage proportion goes towards the actual creating of the National Lottery Trust Fund, where there's money allocated for various good causes, in theory, although we've had a patchy record over the last couple of years. But that's the way it works. And then, of course, the company itself needs to make money because they have costs, and they're in this, I think it's fair to say, to try and make a profit and create a successful business. Hope that answers your question, even if I'm not Clement. It's 28 minutes past 4.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. What a difference a day makes, eh?
Indeed. Good afternoon, not Clement. So oil prices, sorry, he did open the door. Oil prices just hovering under $100 a barrel. And that's because of what we've seen in Iran today. The US sort of bombing several areas. They say this is defensive. Iran says we see it as a sort of breaking of the ceasefire. So that's pushing oil prices slightly up. You would expect that to immediately push the JSE down, and the JSE has been down for most of the day. Not too bad at the moment, though, really flat, down 0.04%, 115,953 points. Financials are up 0.82%, industrials are down nearly a full percent, and resources are up 0.1% on the day. Data tech down nearly 9%, slightly surprising because they say demand related to AI has allowed them to increase their dividend by over 45%. Its profit was up nearly 60%, John. Gross invoiced income was up by 9.3%. So a bit surprising to see them down nearly 9%. Obviously, they say that AI is going to keep their demand for services strong, and I think on balance, that's probably right. Pick and Pay down over 8.6%. Now, John, yesterday, when their results came out and the fact that their turnover, that their break-even point for Pick and Pay supermarkets was being pushed out by a year, that they lost sort of R1 trillion in trading, R1 billion rand, sorry, Sean. You would expect there to be a big reaction, and there was, but then it came off a bit and it strengthened through the day. Now it's down again, very significantly, down really nearly 9%. Coronation down 3.57%. Coronation fund managers saying their headline earnings are down by 5% in the 6 months to the end of March. Their total assets under management down 2%, mainly because of drop in values on the JSE. And then Pepkor, well, another strong result for them. They say the two-pot system helping its customers spending more money on clothes and phones. Their headline earnings per share up by over 10% in the 6 months to the end of March. Revenue up 13% by nearly 55 billion rand. Naspers is down 2%. Boxer down in sympathy with Pick and Pay, I think down 1.83%. And then Tungela is up 7%. South 32 is up 6.3%. Sasol up nearly 5% on the day as well. And Glencore also doing well, up nearly 2%. In the US, so there's quite a lot of optimism around AI, and that's outweighing fears around oil prices. The Dow Jones is up 0.21%, the Nasdaq is up 1.18%, and the S&P 500 is up 0.75%. The gold price at the moment, $4,518.78, platinum $1,954.90, Brent crude $99.91. The rand to the dollar 16.36, to the euro 19.02, to the British pound 22.02. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
29 minutes now to 5 o'clock. Zingisa Chirwa and the EWN team have been keeping a close eye on what stories are happening both here and further afield. Here she is.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says his party, through government departments and law enforcement agencies, will pursue businesses that profit from hiring undocumented migrants at the expense of South African workers. Mbalula says the Department of Employment and Labour and other agencies, including labour inspectors, will act against enterprises found to be circumventing labour and immigration laws. His comments follow intensified protests in recent weeks, with some South Africans expressing frustration over what they describe as a growing number of undocumented migrants in the country. Mbalula was briefing the media on the outcomes of the ANC's National Executive Committee meeting held over the weekend. Dimakatole Shuru reports.
Fikile Mbalula says demands by South Africans for government to act decisively on border management, national security, human trafficking, crime and corruption within the Department of Home Affairs and the SAPS are genuine and real. He's called on private companies and recruitment agencies to fully comply with South Africa's labour and immigration laws. He says the hiring of undocumented workers to suppress wages is criminal.
The recruitment of undocumented workers in order to suppress wages, to evade the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, to undermine the sectoral determinations of the Minister of Employment is criminal. It is unpatriotic.
Mbalula has also urged the Department of Home Affairs to consider the reintroduction of immigration quotas.
Our country must decide transparently and in the public interest how many additional persons can lawfully and humanly accommodate.
Dimakato Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
Police in Mpumalanga have rescued 18 minors from an alleged illegal initiation school in Vosman. The boys were found after a 16-year-old was reported missing last week, allegedly taken to the school without his parents' consent. His mother says she was later told her son had been admitted to the bogus initiation school and was asked to pay money and provide groceries for his release. The police's Tulisile Magagula says the Ingoma task team traced the school where they found the teenager already initiated. Magagula adds that a 51-year-old man found at the site has been arrested on charges including contravening the Customary Initiation Act and extortion.
Police rescued the victim together with 17 other minors aged between 14 and 17 during an operation conducted by the Ingoma task team. SAPS has warned initiation school operators against recruiting or keeping minors without the consent of parents.
A junior police officer in the Eastern Cape has been arrested after shooting at her boss in an office dispute at the Majola police station. The incident happened at a police station situated outside Port St. John's. The officer has been charged with 4 counts of attempted murder, theft of a firearm, unlawful possession of a firearm. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
According to police reports, she crashed the one and rolled the other car into the water-filled ditch. The 2-step victims reported the matter to the local police station yesterday. Eastern Cape Police spokesperson Nobuntu Kantana says the junior officer opened fire at the complainants and the station commander.
During the meeting, the constable forced open a colleague's safe, took her firearm and opened fire on management and the complainants. The acting station commander was shot below the left arm and is in stable condition.
This led to a shootout with other police colleagues. The member tried to escape into the bushes before her arrest. She is expected to appear in the Port St. John's Magistrates Court tomorrow. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News.
And in Paris, the Mint has announced its plans to start selling solid gold coins for investment. This will be the first time these are sold since it quit making Napoleon and Louis coins a century ago. 4 versions of the new Marion coins will go on sale on the 16th of June. One side will feature the symbolic Marion face representing the French Republic, while the other will show a map of the nation's territories. They will compete on the global market with South African Krugerrands, Canadian Maple Leafs, or American Gold Eagles. And in your weather, Gauteng can expect clear skies tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to lows of between 5 and 6 degrees and peak at highs of between 20 and 23.
Midrand accident scene N1 South near Olifantsfontein Road, causing about a 30-minute delay in both directions between Samrand and the Batlu interchange. While in Soweto, there's traffic pressure on Chris Hani Road. This is between UJ Campus and Klipspruit Valley Road. And there's also slow-moving traffic in the Eldorado Park Lenasia area. That's the N12 westbound between the N1 and Klipspruit Valley Road.
The top story in EWN, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says his party, through government departments and law enforcement agencies, will pursue businesses that profit from hiring undocumented migrants at the expense of South African workers.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
My show is about getting you informed by the time you get to the office, your place of business, or wherever you need to go. Hopefully, you have a fairly good idea what's happening in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, and around the world. We want you to be part of those water cooler conversations, and you will be part of those conversations because you'll be a better informed citizen. What I like about the 702 family and 702 land is the ecosystem that we have built, the community. It's all about connection because we may be different, but ultimately the people you talk to and the people you hear are facing issues just like you.
702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m.
The 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people, for the people, on Sunday, 26 July. Babize Bonke. And this year you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 5-kilometer Victoria Yards route takes you from Ellis Park through the inspirational Joburg Cricket Club into Victoria Yards and past the Troyville Hotel. You then finish off at Ellis Park. So whether you're taking on the 5K, 8K or 15-kilometer walk, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk with 702, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
If you're CEO or CFO looking to grow across Africa, then the next 60 seconds are for you. Because in that short time, one bank in Africa will process over 300 million rand. That's 430 billion rand every day. Right now, we have 17.7 trillion rand of the continent's assets under custody management, making us far and away the largest bank by assets in Africa, which is why in 2025, we were voted Best Bank for Corporates in Africa at the Euro Money Awards for Excellence. So, if you're looking for a bank with scale, we are easy to find. We are in 21 key markets across Africa, and we've been on the continent for 163 years, so we are not going anywhere. Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
You have insurance, just in case. A spare tire, just in case. But when it comes to cash flow, most businesses wait until it's too late. Bridgement gives you business funding on standby, so timing doesn't decide for you. Get access to up to 10 million rand. No cost to apply or keep it in place. Use it when you need it, free when you don't. Apply online at bridgement.com. Bridgement. Business funding simplified.
The City of Johannesburg Executive Deputy Mayor Councillor Loiso Masuku invites you to tune in for the 2026-27 budget speech, theme Building Johannesburg Together, Investing Today, Securing Tomorrow. The budget outlines the city's plans to invest in Johannesburg's future. Watch live on the city's official social media platforms on Wednesday, 27 May at 12:30 p.m.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Dumela Ntate John. Thank you, Andrew from Soshanguve. We are very happy for Sundowns to have won the championship. And as a Chiefs fan, I agree with the management. Let them release the coaches, but not wait for too long to get and announce another coach for the new season. Thank you, Andrew. Bye.
Good afternoon, Tate John. O bua le Thabo Mabothe ke tswa go Switzerland ke le mo Gauteng ka tiro. I personally not happy about the decision that our team has taken, especially for these 2 coaches. If you can check where we're coming from, there's a big improvement. And then the other one that I also want to know, if you know, is that Mezo, the goalkeeper coach, is he also gone or only the 2 guys? Thank you, Tate John. Have a blessed one.
Good afternoon, Uncle John. It's Andile and Brecken Downs. You know the statement by Figile. We've long been saying this thing. We've been long saying these things being labeled as xenophobic because they top there. They don't feel what we feel here on the ground, not in the suburbs, but in the location. We are feeling it. It's much more different. Now what they're trying to do is to circumcise a mosquito because chickens are coming home to roost. Andile and Brecken Downs.
Yo, I've never heard that expression, circumcise a mosquito, because the chickens are coming home to roost. But the point is one that many people have made, that these have been issues. This has been something that has been boiling and now has burst to the surface, not for the first time, and that there should have been much more inclusive and less judgmental discussions going on, and there should have been a much closer consideration of the issues at stake, particularly for people in, communities facing difficult circumstances. So, yeah, keep that conversation and debate going. It's a very interesting and important one. 18 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
So, Anthony, you are going to kick off with the Kaizer Chiefs coaching changes. Goalkeeper coaches usually leave with the people who brought them, but I'm not sure if that would be the case here. That was a query, but what's the main story?
Yeah, good afternoon, John. The only other coach who will be departing with Khalil Ben Yusuf and Cedric Kaze is the conditioning coach, Maji Safi, who's also left the club at this day.
Okay.
But yeah, Kaizer Chiefs parted ways with the co-coaches following the end of their contracts. The pair were in charge of Amakosi following the departure of Nazruddin Nabi in October last year. They led the team to third in the league, the club's best finish since coming second 6 years ago, as well as securing CAF Confederation Cup football for next season. There is live football on the go at the Athlone Stadium. It's the first game of the PSL promotion relegation playoffs, and I can tell you that headed into the final 5 minutes of the match, Milford still lead Cape Town City 1-0. Meanwhile, the Bulls are preparing for a massive showdown at the weekend against Munster at Loftus Versfeld in the URC quarterfinals. It could be an even more special occasion for Ruan Nokia, who's expected to play his 150th match for the team. Captain Marcel Coetzee spoke on the Lock's growth.
He's a born and bred Pretoria man. He came through the systems. He did the badge justice over the years. Been fortunate enough to be his roommate this last couple of years. Just proud of him, of how he's grown as a person and his talent that he took to the next level. Settled well with the boxer as well. He's just the maturity he brings to the squad, and his leadership is incredible. The players respect him a lot.
Cricket on the go sees the IPL's Qualifier 1. Defending champs Royal Challengers Bangalore finished top of the table up against second place Gujarat Titans for a spot in Sunday's final. RCB at the crease on 93 for the loss of 2 wickets. They've just lost Virat Kohli for 43 as they are right now in the 9th over. And in tennis, Arina Sabalenka pushed back firmly against a reporter at Roland Garros, dismantling a line of questioning about alleged hypocrisy in the midst of the prize money debate at Grand Slams. The women's world number 1 wore jewellery worth £100,000 on court in her first round victory.
I don't really see how it can be possible to cross these two completely different words, and it's just that we are fighting for a fair percentage out of the revenues, and also for the lower ranked players coming back after injuries, next generation to be more comfortable coming into the top 10. So it's not about me.
On court, we've seen Kankori retire after sustaining a rib injury. Meanwhile, Maria Sukari, Valentin Vashero and Stefanos Tsitsipas are all through to the second round. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic at 4:45 is brought to you by Plumlink, your local plumbing store. Visit plumlink.co.za to find your nearest store. Still out in Midrand, still tricky there. Still, Karabo Charlie is on it. Here he is.
Yeah, that's heading towards the Sandton area, leaving Midrand accident scene on the N1 southbound near Olifantsfontein Road. Still causing more than a 30-minute delay. This is in both directions between Samrand and the Betlu interchange. Germiston also accident scene. This is on the N3 southbound near the Geldenays interchange, causing heavy delays all the way from the Gilulis interchange. Leaving Sandton, heading towards the M1, traffic sluggish on Grayston Drive between Rivonia Road and and Catherine Street. Soweto, there's traffic pressure on Chris Honey Road between UJ Campus and Klipspruit Valley, while in Lenasia, heading towards Protea Glen, slow-moving traffic N12 westbound from the N1 to Klipspruit Valley Road, and in Hermanstad, leaving the Pretoria CBD, expect some delays on Eskiam Pahlele between Bomhagen and the R80. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
If it's plumbing, you'll find it at Plumlink, South Africa's largest plumbing retailer. From pipes, fittings, geysers, and baths to basins, taps, tools, and accessories, we've got it all. With more than 10,000 quality products at the right price and over 150 stores nationwide, there's always a Plumlink near you, ready to help with expert advice and unbeatable value. Find your nearest branch today at plumlink.coza.
Plumlink, your local plumbing store.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Now, before we talk about something else, I know some of you are still a bit peckish, so just a few more treats from people's childhood. Yahya says, Peri Nana, don't know that. Chomp, know that one. Nestle Red Squares, Chocolate Log, that's all from Yahya. And Tulani says, we also like the Jackson 5 sweets, Cadbury, as we call them, in Pretoria. One of the things I've really enjoyed, by the way, with all this sweet treat nostalgia, has been the different names people have given. And the name isn't always what's on the packaging. But we've eaten enough, even with a sweet tooth. Let's move on. Here's a question for you, Anthony Karabo, and for all of our listeners as well. Where do you find the biggest concentration of angry, annoyed, fed up people in your lives in Joburg? Doesn't have to be in Joburg, but most of us are in Joburg. So where are most of them at? Like, where do you go and you say, oh, okay, this is bad vibe central?
I think it's the roads.
Okay.
It is like 100%.
Yep.
Drivers, I think, are some of the, I don't want to say the angriest people, but they're definitely some of the most difficult people to have to deal with. And I'm not going to lie, I'm always quite cautious because I'm petrified of what the next person's about to do on the road.
Okay, so you that slow guy kind of drifting.
I'm more like we go according to the speed limit,
Yes.
maybe a little bit under.
Okay.
And we don't cut off. And if somebody wants to get in front of you, I will give you a chance. No.
Karabo's looking like he's already irritated with you because he wants to get past. But I'll tell you why I'm asking, partly why I'm asking the question. There are places where we get really put through the mill, but sometimes it brings out like a very ironic, quite witty, quite long-suffering, which is not a good thing because too much putting up with nonsense is not necessarily a good thing for a country's democracy. But I've been, for example, in long queues at a government department where they say, oh, the system is down, and people find a way to chat and laugh and so on. But I'm thinking of places where, like, that isn't working. People are fed up. So we've got the roads from both of you. Anywhere else, Karabo Charlie?
The licensing department, home affairs, like you said,
Yes.
government institutions where you have to wait in line and you'll just have those sighs and the ahs and the and how long, what's wrong, what's happening, why isn't this line moving? We are offline.
Okay, let's hear from you. Places where you will find the highest concentration of irritable, fed up, and even angry people. Maybe you can surprise us with a few unexpected ones. Call us with that on 0727021702. It's 10 to 5.
John Perlman
On 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Well, I've been telling you we're going to be doing this, taking a close look at China and Africa. RMB Africa Focus is brought to you by RMB, a leading African corporate and investment bank. Today, our focus is on the evolving relationship between China and Africa and what a new era of trade and investment could mean for all of us on the continent. RMB Africa Focus is back for a fifth season to explore Africa's economic resilience and strategic role in global economies. Over the coming weeks, we'll look at how countries across the continent are sustaining momentum, unlocking opportunity, and positioning themselves in a continuously evolving global landscape. This week, our focus turns to the evolving relationship between Africa and China. The long-standing economic story between Africa and China, often dismissed as a simple exchange of raw minerals for finished goods, is approaching a fundamental shift. The adoption of zero tariffs on exports from more than 50 African nations into China will disrupt and fundamentally change the commercial landscape as we know it. So to unpack what this could mean for Africa's economic future, we are joined now by award-winning journalist Crystal Alderson. Crystal, a very good afternoon to you. Fascinating topic and great to have you with us. So zero tariff, tell us exactly how it works and what this might mean in terms of maybe giving the African continent some trading oxygen.
Good afternoon, John. It's interesting. It was just launched actually the 1st of May during Africa Month, where more than 50 African nations are now exporting. And I think it's been interesting, John, watching social media from countries like Kenya, Uganda, Egypt and South Africa, because of course we've seen apples from, Grabo going to China. We've seen avos from Kenya, pineapples from Uganda, all arriving in China and taking full advantage of the zero tariff. But what does it mean in terms of the numbers, John? We saw China-Africa trade hit a record $348 billion in 2025. So that was about a 17-18% increase. And China is still Africa's major trading partner, and it's been for the past 16 years. We in turn sent around 123 billion worth of goods to China, mostly, John, in like oil, critical minerals, and other raw materials. So I think this is where the big issue is, John, is to rebalance those numbers, but also ensuring that not only Africa's middle income countries, which is like South Africa, big agriculture countries like Kenya, Uganda, and other bigger economies like Egypt and Morocco benefit, but also smaller countries. And so essentially what we see now is that rebalance of the trade relationship. And it comes at a time, John, where we know Washington has increasingly used tariffs as a coercive tool, and China wants to reset that relationship and seeing itself as a committed and reliable trading partner.
So just to be very clear, Crystal, is it a blanket zero tariff, or is it specific? In the examples you gave were agricultural produce. Some skeptics might say, well, they've already got enough coal and iron ore and so on. Now they're looking for pineapples, apples, and avos. Would this extend to manufactured goods if indeed they could find a niche in a country that already produces much of what it needs?
Absolutely, John. And I think the skeptics they have reason to, because those numbers are heavily imbalanced. We're talking an imbalance of around 102 billion deficit for Africa, because we do know China has historically imported oil from Angola, the DRC. It's been critical minerals like copper and cobalt, same for Zambia, and then of course here in South Africa, minerals. And so experts are saying, look, now is the time that African nations can benefit from scale, established logistical networks, and that commercial relationships with China. And so I think at first we're going to see stronger economies benefit so much more because the systems are already in place. And I want to mention Kenya as an example. So already we see China has granted them 98.2% zero duty market access to Kenyan products already, because Kenya has been working on it. So when the 1st of May came, John, they were ready to fully benefit from it. And so now the realities, John, is to ensure that smaller countries or smaller economies that also have something in particular that they want to export, here now is that opportunity, John, to actually benefit from the zero trade. But it's going to mean that Africa and nations in particular, John, will have to work harder. And I think ultimately the Africa Free Trade Agreement is that other mechanism that African nations can use to fully benefit from this zero tariff. So, John, I think we're firstly going to see a shift in the numbers in the next coming months. And then this deal expires in 2028, John. So we do have about 2 years to fully find the gaps to ensure that we benefit from the zero tariff agreement.
Yeah, and that'll need to be decisive and swift in terms of the decisions that people take and the actions that they actually deliver. Now, debt between African nations, some of them, Zambia and Ethiopia, you gave us heads up on that, and money they owe China is a big issue. What's the conversation around that, and who's getting involved in maybe looking to see if we can do this a little differently on our continent?
So, John, we saw and we know that China's investments in Africa increased tremendously in the past 10 years following that specific Belt and Road Initiative. So, major infrastructure projects across Africa. And one that comes to mind is the train, John, from Nairobi to Mombasa, which, was paid by Chinese loans. And that amounted to around $62 billion. However, John, we do know that the COVID pandemic, resources, local conditions have really meant that countries have not been able to pay back that debt. And we already see Kenya tops the list of one of the African countries with the largest Chinese loans, followed by Ethiopia and Nigeria. And so what we see is that Chinese bankers are really becoming risk-averse and they're a bit nervous. And I had this conversation and posed this question to Erwin Pon. He's the CEO of RMB in China, and he gave me some insights into one, how China is restructuring their loans, but two, how they are making use of local banks like RMB to assist them in ensuring that the debt is restructured. Let's have a listen, John.
Absolutely. So contrary to perhaps popular belief where Chinese banks and China, and I must highlight that Chinese banks operate independently to a major extent. They have their own KPIs, they have their own risk views, etc. And a lot of them that we are dealing with, the likes of China Development Bank, China Exim Bank, Export-Import Bank, they are definitely worried about risk. They are definitely worried about the management of risk. There is a key difference, though, is that they do have a longer perspective in terms of funding a project, where a lot of the commercial banks look at a shorter tenor. In terms of that, they can look at a longer time frame around that, but it doesn't mean that they're risk averse. In actual fact, they definitely don't want to lose money. They definitely want to be able to create a sustainable environment where countries are able to pay them back, projects are able to pay them back. And this is where local banks can actually play a very important role. Banks like ourselves, they come and talk to us. We understand the local environment. We understand the local economic conditions. So we're able then to share our ideas, share our risk principles.
Yeah, that was Erwin Pon, CEO for RMB in China, ending yet another RMB Africa focus in the company of Crystal Alderson. She's back with us at the same time next week. Now, to watch the in-depth RMB Africa Focus video series with new episodes released weekly, go to primemediaplus.com, brought to you by RMB, a leading African corporate and investment bank. RMB is a leading African corporate and investment bank with a strong presence across the continent and key international markets. By combining deep local insight with global expertise, RMB supports clients across sectors, helping them navigate complexity, manage risk, and unlock opportunity. With teams on the ground in Africa and beyond, RMB connects markets, capital, and ideas to drive sustainable growth. RMB, a division of FirstRand Bank Limited, is an authorized FSP and credit provider.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
26 years now, when the crisis first erupted in Zimbabwe, when Robert Mugabe, by all accounts, lost that election. What happened? We looked the other way. We feted Robert Mugabe as this hero of Africa, even as he dismantled that country block by block, piece by piece. And so when there was a flood of Zimbabweans into South Africa, what did we expect? Even now, Emmerson Mnangagwa presides over a virtual dictatorship. So when we find our fellow Africans flooding into this country, why on earth would they listen to ministers saying, up your game? We and our leadership have been a part of creating this monster.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
If your plumber was becoming too expensive, you'd switch, right? So why pay more for car insurance? Switching to Outsurance saved 27-year-old Lynn a mind-blowing 638 Rand on her 2025 Haval Jolien. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Do it now. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's and information online.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
I want another puzzle from the crazy store. 1,000 perfect pieces, but then I saw so much more. I got slippers and a blanket to keep me warm at night. Sudoku and a coffee mug and fuzzy socks that fit just right.
That's crazy, crazy. That's the crazy store. Went in for one small thing, came out with so much more.
The crazy store. Hey, you never know what you might find.
This is EWN.
NPA raises red flag against magistrate in Ferrari's Banyoni case, and president claims impeachment report process was flawed. Good afternoon, I'm Zingisa Chirwa. We begin with news just in. The NPA is filing a formal complaint against the chief magistrate who presided in the case against Mpumalanga businessman Joe Banyoni. Last week, Magistrate Tuletu Tonjeni struck the case against Banyoni and 3 others from the court roll after the prosecutor in the matter failed to appear in court. She also found him in contempt of court and issued a warrant for his arrest. The NPA is now reporting Tonjeni to the Magistrate Commission. It says her conduct reflected in the proceedings raised serious institutional concerns relating to judicial decorum. President Ramaphosa says the process followed by a panel of jurists who compiled an impeachment report into matters related to his Phala Phala farm was flawed. He has also called into question the Section 89 panel report's findings in a judicial review application filed in the Western Cape High Court this morning. The report, compiled in 2022, considered 4 charges against Ramaphosa related to the theft of US dollars from the Limpopo farm after former spy boss Arthur Fraser blew the lid on the case, which had happened 2 years earlier. Ramaphosa's latest legal action comes as Parliament prepares to establish an impeachment committee to probe the findings following a constitutional court ruling earlier this month that compels it to act. Lindsay Datlinger reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says the panel appointed by Parliament failed to consider the legality of the information put before it in investigating the 4 charges against him. He says the panel, headed by former Chief Justice Sandile Ngcobo, also did not determine whether this information could be deemed admissible evidence and whether it could be used to determine his possible impeachment. Ramaphosa has further questioned the charges the panel investigated, saying it failed to decide whether, if proven, these could be considered impeachable offences and whether sufficient evidence existed to prove the charges. He goes on to question whether information put before the panel was legally obtained. While the President's review application is chiefly aimed at the panelists, he has also included the Speaker of the National Assembly, Toka Didiza, and ATM MP, Vuyo Zungula, who tabled the initial impeachment motion. They have 15 days to indicate whether they plan to oppose the application. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
Suspended SAPS Organised Crime Unit member Fani Ngosi remains behind bars after the Pretoria High Court reserved judgment in his bail appeal. Ngosi is challenging the Pretoria North Magistrate Court's decision to deny him bail after he was arrested during a raid at his home earlier this year. The sergeant faces charges including the possession of police dockets, firearms, ammunition and a stun grenade. More charges were later added relating to defeating the ends of justice in a 2022 drugs and weapons matter. Mongezi Gogo has that story.
Ngosi's lawyer Hendrik Potgieter argued the magistrate's court failed to properly consider his client's right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty and did not sufficiently justify why he would evade trial if released. But Judge Mokgine Mosopa repeatedly questioned the defense over large amounts of cash found at Ngosi's home as well as his possession of police dockets stored in a Wendy house. State Advocate Trot Mphahlele maintained that the magistrate's findings were rational and properly grounded.
It's business as usual at home because the wife is gainfully employed. There's no one starving as we speak, and it is my submission the denial of bail for the accused would actually be detrimental.
Judge Mosopa says he will hand down judgment at a later stage. Monke Zikoko, Eyewitness News at the Pretoria High Court.
And an appeals court is expected to review a British judge's decision to spare 3 teenage rapists jail. 2 girls were raped in 2 separate incidents in Hampshire in November 2024 and January last year. According to reports, the teenagers shared the video of the attacks online. 2 15-year-old boys were sentenced to 3-year youth rehabilitation orders. The third boy, age 14, was given 18 months youth rehabilitation order. He was convicted for encouraging the second defendant in last year's incident and an indecent images offense. The sentences have provoked severe backlash, with many saying the case is extremely distressing. And in your financials, gold is trading at $4,518.61 an ounce. The rand is 16.36 to the dollar, 22.02 to the pound, and 19.03 to the euro. Brent crude oil is $100.44 a barrel.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic leaving Sandton heading towards Midrand. That's on the M1 northbound between Ethel Oaklands and the Butlu interchange, while in Bryanston heading towards Four Ways traffic sluggish. N1 south from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. And in Germiston, accident scene N3 south near the Galdenes interchange causing heavy delays all the way from the Gilulis interchange.
And in your sport, the latest from the PSL promotion relegation clash between Cape Town City and Milford. IPL qualifier 1 between the RCB and Gujarat Titans gets started, and the latest from the first round of Roland Garros.
In your weather, Gauteng can expect clear skies tomorrow. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 6 degrees, peaking at 22. Pretoria a low of 6 and a high of 23. Vereeniging 5 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the MPA is filing a formal complaint against the chief magistrate who presided in the case against Mpumalanga businessman Jos Banyoni.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 5. Great to have you with us over the last hour of the show. Coming up, very important conversation that we need to have about the draft budget for Johannesburg. It's going to be delivered in the form of the budget speech tomorrow, but the details in that draft budget are raising significant concerns, most particularly the money that is being allocated for expanding the senior management team and massively expanding the number of people who work at senior levels in Joburg entities like City Power, Joburg Water, and so on. We'll talk to Julia Fish from Outer. She works for that organization in a division specifically focused on the state of South Africa's economic capital. So that's the story we're going to be looking at. We're also going to follow up on the fact that the NPA has filed a formal complaint against the magistrate, Tuletu Tonjeni, who's presiding over the hearing involving Jos Sibanyoni and 3 others. More on that a little bit later in this half hour as well. At the end of the show, we'll play some music. Simple question for you. What song for you says this was the 90s? And you might look back fondly on that decade or just look back on it and say, well, this is a song that reminds me of a time that wasn't the greatest. It doesn't really matter. But when I ask you, this song takes me back to the 90s. What is that song? Send it please to 072 0702-1702. We asked you the question a little while ago, where will you find the largest concentration of angry people as you make your way around the place where you live? This is what some of you had to say.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. The one group of people that really scare me are supermarket cashiers, you know, the one at the tills. And the thing is, them being rude is so subtle that once you challenge something that they do or say, you, the customer, you are the one who remains as being the one who's difficult. They scare me so much to understand that every time I go shopping, I don't do the paying. In most cases, I'm with my son and I let him do the paying because I know one way or another, something about them is going to irritate me. And then I'll be the one who appears to be impossible. Kabelin, Pretoria.
Good afternoon, John and the team. John, talk about the center of bad vibes. I think for me, it's Home Affairs. You know, the employees, most of them, though, I must say, you know, it's like they haven't been fed something nutritious for quite some time, and their system somehow constantly reminds them that they need to display these hostile conduct, this hostile attitude. You know, when you standing next in the queue and you are about to go, and they don't even have the decency to say, you know, hello ma'am, hello sir, please come through. They just give you this unceremonious look, the look that says, what the hell are you waiting for? You know, shouldn't you make a step forward? So yeah, for me, Home Affairs, it's that center. Joel from Kempton Park had a splendid evening.
Yeah, Zoe says, I think where you get the most angry people is at the airport when there is a delayed flight. Yeah, people get pretty tense there as well. By the way, cashiers, speak up for yourselves, please. There must be some people who are supermarket cashiers who are listening. Maybe you're getting a bad rap there from Cabello. He sounds like he's genuinely scared of you. Put him at ease, please, on 072 702 1702, 13 past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Getting busy in Sandton. It normally does at this time, Karabo Chale. How bad is it?
Yeah, John, heading towards Midrand Sandton area, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the M1 northbound. From Ethel Oaklands to the Patlu interchange. Also slow-moving traffic in Bryanston, N1 southbound from Rivonia Road to Winnie Mandela Drive. While in Germiston, heading towards Alberton, Katlong area, there's an accident scene. N3 south near the Galdenes interchange, causing heavy delays all the way from the Kilulis interchange. Lenasia, heading towards Protea Glen, traffic heavily backed up on the N12 westbound between the N1 and Klipspruit Valley Road. Traffic is also sluggish leaving the Pretoria CBD, that's in Hermanstad on Eskiam Phahlele between Vomhagen and the R80. To report any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance Pointsmen can't help you pass your license renewal eye test, but they can help you arrive on time. Seeing them on your route just makes you feel better. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so everyone gets where they need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using #PointsmenLove, licensed insurer and FSP.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What do you want government to do then? Must they overhaul the constitution? Because if you block foreign nationals or undocumented foreign nationals from accessing healthcare services, that violates the constitution.
No, definitely it does.
So what do you want government to do then?
The way we've done this, it's not that we just rushed and mashed yesterday and now want these demands. We've written numerous memorandums to government, even to the president himself on the 28th of April. We were marching in Pretoria and we haven't even received a response from the president's office.
Sanele Kambule, National Treasurer of March and March.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Mzansi, Powerball and Powerball Plus have skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping 207 million rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday. Don't get left behind. Play Powerball for an estimated 107 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 100 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Itube is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Let's hear from Susan, owner of Leopard Song Manor, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
We were with our previous insurer for 13 years. Switching made me aware of things that we weren't covered for. It was a quick process. I saved a lot of money.
For boutique hotels, catering companies, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Mzansi, Take-A-Lot's senior cards, and boy have you been shopping. To say thank you for all your support, we're bringing you the Thanks A Lot sale. Get up to 60% off must-have beauty, sports gear, latest tech, TV and appliances, everyday essentials, toys and more. To know you is to spoil you. Shop the Take-A-Lot Thanks A Lot sale from 25 May to 7 June.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
18 minutes past 5. Let's now focus on the city of Johannesburg and its finances. Those will be front and center tomorrow as the budget speech for the metro is delivered. The budget debate follows on Thursday. Then there'll be a vote. If the budget is voted for, it will be in place from the 1st of July. That said, there is already significant concerns about some of the line items in the budget, most notably increased spending that is coming in, first of all, on the salaries, and that will be required to deal with a significant increase in the number of senior managers. There are currently 330 positions that fit that description. That will increase to 790. And then board members and others involved at municipal entities, that will increase to 385 positions from 70. So this is a massive increase at the very highest level. Is that what the city needs? Let's welcome to the show Julia Fish, who's Executive Manager of the organization Joburg Can. Ms. Fish, welcome and thanks very much for your time. Presumably in all the drafts of the budgets and all the discussions, there's no detail, unless there is, and I hope there is, but I'm hearing there isn't, as to what all these new senior positions are actually for, and crucially what difference they'll make to a city in desperate need of improvement.
Good afternoon, John. No, there is no detail. These numbers are buried in line items within the budget, and there's no actual detail as to where these are happening. Specifically with the boards, we've noticed these increases year on year, and we, as Joburg Can, we put in a substantive comment into the budget IDP and tariff documents every year. And while we've noted these issues with the board members, we've been told in political engagements or through our comments that we're just not reading it right. We don't understand how these work. But if it's a typo, why are they making the same mistakes every year?
So what are they, when you say they are, it's buried, say a little bit more about that. I mean, would it be like the constant subdividing of key functions into sub-departments and then putting senior managers in charge of those sub-departments? How does it work?
When I say it's buried, the IDP is about 350 pages.
Right.
That doesn't include the capital budget and that doesn't include the operational budget. Those are different documents and they're an additional tens of pages. So when you go through it line by line, you suddenly start noticing, wait, they're in the capital expenditure, they've noted board members. In the operational expenditure, they've noted the senior managers. They don't even say which department they're going to. They don't note why they need it, how many staff they're going to be managing, what the KPIs or the key performance indicators will be to make sure that they're part of the service level agreements as to what is expected from them and accountability. None of that is mentioned. It's just a vague number.
So all of this must fish against the background of Joburg's financial integrity and stability being questioned on all sorts of levels, not least by Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana. Is there money to pay for all of this? Because my understanding is if you want to pass an unfunded budget, everybody involved in the passing of such a budget would be in breach of what? The Municipal Finance Management Act?
Absolutely. They're in breach of the Municipal Finance Management Act as well as the PFMA, which is the provincial level. There is supposed to be more oversight by Treasury. Our concern is that the letter sent by the minister to the city of Joburg that was leaked relies on numbers from July of last year. So according to the mayor, these figures have improved. They aren't as in debt as the minister claimed to have been. They've reduced the amount of creditors and the amount of days that they are owed. But that then shows us that they're not performing, they're not actually submitting those financial documents to Treasury as required. So therefore, Treasury can't do that oversight. Council is also supposed to do their level of oversight, the legislature, our ward councillors, but they also can't do it on a timely basis because they're also only getting the financial reports. I think so far we've got December's in front of us. We haven't seen anything further. And when you're not reporting, it also shows that you're not keeping track of what you're doing. So that oversight is very difficult to be able to stop things where they're happening before it gets out of control, like what's currently happening with the Eskom dispute.
One of the issues that has been raised as well is the salaries being paid to the heads of municipal entities. Earlier on the show, when I was talking to Alex Patrick, who's written a very comprehensive piece on the News 24 site, the municipal entities CEO salaries, some of them are huge. I mean, pick it up, 4.5 million rand. I'm rounding up. Metro Bus, 2.6. That's one of the low ones. The Joburg Property Company, 5.5 million rand. Does the law allow municipalities to pay the heads of these metro entities anything they like?
Technically, yes. Mm-hmm. So they are supposed to be within a system that has an upper echelon dictated by Treasury. That's where, the municipal manager and the ombud, we can note, while the municipal manager is being paid within the threshold, the ombudsman, for example, isn't. But they claim that because these are entities, they are not necessarily within the same structure. They're technically managed under the Companies Act. And they have to, kind of bring them in to manage these organizations in competition with the private sector. So they claim that they need to be able to pay competitive wages with the private sector. I don't buy that. Yes. Because if you look at all of the heads of these entities, they've actually been groomed from within the organizations that they're running. They have been in public service their entire career. And therefore, there's nowhere else for them to go other than in public service. They're not competing. There is a good succession plan. They understand the corporate business because they've been within it. That's all well and good. But, for the head of JPC, he was appointed from within. That is not in competition. And therefore, they need to be tied in with the MFMA and also what is feasible for the city of Joburg. The JPC head got a 60% salary raise this year in this budget. And for an entity that is failing largely, JPC has multiple properties which they manage, which have either been hijacked or are derelict, and they're not actually getting the revenue that they need to be able to be self-sufficient. And therefore, we shouldn't be paying these kind of salaries, never mind the bonuses that they inevitably get on top of that.
Thank you so much, Julia Fish, Executive Manager of Joburg Can. So the Joburg budget will be presented by way of a budget speech tomorrow. The debate will be on Thursday. It'll be interesting to see who on the Metro Council floor actually raises some of these issues that I think are concerning many people. 702 Drive, it's 25 minutes past 5.
In business, missed deliveries cost more than money. Go Girl Logistics is South Africa's 100% black female-owned Level 1 Triple BEE powerhouse, delivering secure, time-sensitive transport for parcels, cold chain cargo, and compliance waste. With DG trained drivers, cold chain certification, national reach, and real-time tracking, every load is handled professionally, safely, and on time. Go Girl Logistics, power beyond cargo. Visit gogirl-logistics.com.
Doing your famous through meetings, in traffic, at the store. Don't let seasonal hay fever get in the way of a better you. Unite against allergies with Demazin once a day, providing 24-hour non-sedating relief from symptoms like a runny nose, sneezing, and itchy red eyes. Demazin gets it done. Speak to your pharmacist today about Demazin once a day.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's Winter Symphony Season, featuring masterpieces by Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, and more, is sure to exhilarate music lovers. Concerts take place on Thursday evenings from 4 to 25 June at the Linda Auditorium. Tickets available at Quicket.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja. 1 to 3 p.m.
What is the common mistake that people are making other than going to a specialist that's actually going to look at their skin?
So it's not perfected yet, and I want to say there can be a lack of clinical context. Never underestimate that AI cannot really fully assess your medical history, your hormonal influences, your autoimmune disease, if you have some underlying autoimmune deficiency. And you know what? Even without AI, from a physical consultation, highly disciplined science, dermatologists, or even aesthetic medicine practitioners, they can even misdiagnose.
Dr. Judy Pretorius, who's a biomedical scientist.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk. EWN Business.
Coming up now for 28 minutes past 5, time to catch up with what's been happening on the markets and a look ahead, of course, to tonight's Money Show. Here's Stephen.
John, thank you. Good afternoon to you. Well, Brent crude oil creeping up above $100 a barrel. More war talk and, of course, US bombing certain positions in Iran today. The JSE all shares suffering a little bit because of that. Not as much as you might have thought. Down 0.15% at the end. 115,818 points. Financials up 0.87. Industrials down 1.3 and resources down just 0.05% on the day. A lot of corporate news today. So data tech down 8%. Despite a really strong set of results, they said they increased their dividend by over 45%. Gross invoiced income was up 9.3%. Profits were up, John, nearly 60%. But I think investors were maybe expecting a little bit more, despite really strong earnings. Pick and Pay down 7.37% after their results out yesterday. And, of course, the fact that Pick and Pay supermarkets made such a big loss, a really big factor in that. Sean Summers, I think, still clearly has his work cut out for him. And Coronation Fund Managers, they're down 4% today. They said headline earnings are down by 5% in the 6 months to the end of March, partly because of a weaker economy. And then Pepcor saying they believe the two-pot system helping their customers to spend more money on clothes and phones. Headline earnings per share up over 10% in the 6 months to the end of March. Huge momentum there, talking about their new bank. It's costing them R1 billion. They're beginning to set out proper timetables for how it's going to play out. Prosus and Naspers both down by nearly 2.5%, and Optasia down 2% on the day. PSG Finance also down, and Nekke giving up a little bit of yesterday's losses. They're down nearly 2%. Tungela up 8.66%. Sasol up 2%, up over 5.5%. That's obviously off the back of stronger oil prices. And Kumba up 3.2%. Exara also up nearly 2%. Some of the financial shares a little stronger too. FirstRand and Investec both up by over 1.5%. In the US, some concerns, I think, around oil prices, but mainly optimism around AI. The Dow Jones is down 0.14. The Nasdaq is up 1.17, and the S&P 500 is up 0.71% at the moment. The gold price, $4,513.18. Platinum, $1,944.74. Brent crude, $100.39 a barrel. The rand to the dollar, 16.38 to the euro, 19.03 to the British pound, 22.01. On the Money Show tonight, John, we'll talk about AI. A new panel being set out by the Minister, Solly Malatsi. The Pope saying yesterday government actually needs to slow down the adoption of AI. We'll speak to Professor Bruce Murray, the guy you sort of speak to in these moments. What role can governments really play about this? Some good news from our farmers. Wandile Seklobo on your radio tonight around that. The people who run Avis and Budget car rentals, strangely, John, they've been able to sell a lot more second-hand cars. Now, We Buy Cars has found that there's been second-hand car deflation, price deflation in the market, mainly because of the new cheaper Chinese and Indian cars. So we'll examine that tonight. And then, of course, Warren Ingram on the biggest and most important decision you'll make at retirement. Just don't, I suppose, would be the main one. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
29 minutes to 6. This is 702 Drive. It's news time. Time for the headlines. Zingisa Chirwa. Zingisa, NPA getting into action around that Joe Sibanyoni matter. What are they doing?
Well, it seems, John, the MPA is filing a formal complaint against the chief magistrate who presided in the case against Mpumalanga businessman Joe Banyoni. Last week, Magistrate Tuletu Tonjeni struck the case against Banyoni and 3 others from the court roll after the prosecutor in the matter failed to appear in court. She also found him in contempt of court and issued a warrant for his arrest. The MPA is now reporting Tonjeni to the Magistrates Commission. It says her conduct reflected in the proceedings raised serious institutional concerns relating to judicial decorum. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi says they've been promised that the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital will be completely repaired by August. Today, the Health Minister and Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana, as well as Premier Panyaza Lesufi, visited the hospital to monitor the progress of repairs. This follows the Public Protector's report that revealed that the project was delayed by maladministration, poor project management and underspending. The facility caught fire in April 2021, destroying parts of the building and the parking lot. Today, the Development Bank of South Africa, which is leading the repairs, told government representatives that it's in its final parts of the refurbishments. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi.
We are informed by the DBSA that in August, that means in 2 months' time, all the wards here will be working. And in October, this parking lot in which we are will be open for use, and that will be the end of the project.
Police in Mpumalanga have rescued 18 minors from an alleged illegal initiation school in Vosman. The boys were found after a 16-year-old was reported missing last week, allegedly taken to the school without his parents' consent. His mother says she was later told her son had been admitted to the bogus initiation school and was asked to pay money and provide groceries for his release. The police's Tulsile Makagula says the Ingoma task team traced the school where they found the teenager already initiated. Makagula adds that a 51-year-old man found at the site has been arrested on charges including contravening the Customary Initiation Act and extortion.
Police rescued the victim together with 17 other minors aged between 14 and 17 during an operation conducted by the Ingoma task team. SAPS has warned initiation school operators against recruiting or keeping minors without the consent of parents.
And a junior police officer in the Eastern Cape has been arrested after shooting at her boss in an office dispute at the Majola police station. The incident happened at a police station situated outside Port St. John's. The officer has been charged with 4 counts of attempted murder, theft of a firearm, and lawful possession of a firearm. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
According to police reports, she crashed the one and rolled the other car into the water-filled ditch. The 2-step victims reported the matter to the local police station yesterday. Eastern Cape Police spokesperson Nobuntu Kantana says the junior officer opened fire at the complainants and the station commander.
During the meeting, the constable forced open a colleague's safe, took her firearm and opened fire on management and the complainants. The acting station commander was shot below the left arm and is in stable condition.
This led to a shootout with other police colleagues. The member tried to escape into the bushes before her arrest. She is expected to appear in the Port St. John's Magistrates Court tomorrow. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News.
And in your weather, Gauteng can expect clear skies tomorrow, temperatures dropping to lows of between 5 and 6 degrees and peaking at highs of between 20 and 23.
Heading towards OR Tambo International Airport, that's coming from the Edenville area. There's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R24 westbound. This is approaching the R21 merge. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Kempton Park area. This is on Waterfontein Road between Laurie and Zierfontein Road. Sandton, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the M1 northbound from Ethel Oaklands to the Butlu interchange.
The top story in EWN, the MPA is filing a formal complaint against the chief magistrate who presided in the case against Mpumalanga businessman Jose Banyoni.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
26 years now, when the crisis first erupted in Zimbabwe, when Robert Mugabe, by all accounts, lost that election. What happened? We looked the other way. We feted Robert Mugabe as this hero of Africa, even as he dismantled that country block by block, piece by piece. And so when there was a flood of Zimbabweans into South Africa, what did we expect? Even now, Emmerson Mnangagwa presides over a virtual dictatorship. So when we find our fellow Africans flooding into this country, why on earth would they listen to ministers saying, up your game? We and our leadership have been a part of creating this monster.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
The Buscade Soweto String Ensemble will dazzle with a rich program ranging from European classics to Afro jazz and kwela, featuring soloists Kokeso and Tsegofatso Mpela, Sidiso and Bongani Boikanyo, all members of one remarkable musical family. This unforgettable performance blends Mozart, Bruch, and Brahms, celebrating 29 years of transforming young lives through music. The concert takes place at the Linda Auditorium on Sunday, 19 July at 3 p.m. Book your tickets now at Quicket.
At Specsavers, we're committed to offering affordable and professional eye care. That's why we're offering 1,500 Rand worth of savings with our winter promotion. Get a free frame up to the value of 1,500 Rand or use the 1,500 Rand on one of our leading vision enhancements, like Climate Eyes, which automatically adapts to changing light. To qualify, simply purchase a comprehensive eye examination and prescription frame and lenses. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
That's Tabo, before he got naked. When Tabo's car broke down, he did what every manly man does best. Hit things, fiddle, and hope it works. So Tabo got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now call roadside assistance anytime on the Naked app. Tools down, Tabo. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Yeah, remember that John and team. Percy here in Kempton Park. I know this one I'll definitely go with Anthony. South African roads are jungle. People are not happy. People are fighting for petrol price increase, traffic lights that are not working, taxi drivers that are just lawlessness. Like it's a mess. People are angry, John. On the roads, yeah, but just in short, everybody just be safe out there. Avoid road rage, guys. We saw a fatal incident just the other day about road rage. So, yeah, no, the roads are a mess. People die, actually literally die on the roads. So, yeah, keep it safe out there, family.
Evening to you, John. How could the magistrate over the Sibanyoni case compromise the poor prosecutor when she is fully aware that all eyes are on the justice system, the SAPS, and all eyes are on everybody? She really compromised herself. Thank you.
John, this whole situation with the state of the finances in the city, etc., and where people supposedly need support because they don't know what is expected of them and blah, blah, blah. It is so frustrating. These people are earning R1 million a year, 1.5 million a year, 2 million a year. how can you then say that you need support because you don't understand how to do this and how to do that? It's just not okay. It's not on.
Yeah, thanks for all those voice messages. Now, just in regard to the decision by the Director of Public Prosecutions in Mpumalanga to file a formal complaint with the Magistrates Commission against Chief Magistrate Tuletu, I beg your pardon, Tonjeni. Just want to read you the fourth paragraph of the NPA's statement. Because I think the language they're using is quite strong. The NPA holds the firm view that the conduct reflected in the proceedings raises serious institutional concerns relating to judicial decorum, procedural fairness, and the proper administration of justice. Investigation of the complaint to the Magistrates Commission would therefore serve the broader purpose of protecting the integrity of the magistracy, ensuring accountability, and preventing recurrence of similar irregularities in future proceedings. Given the language that lawyers generally use, I'd say this is pretty strong stuff. 19 minutes to 6.
EWN Sport.
All change at the coaching level at Kaizer Chiefs. Anthony Teixeira, you have the details.
Yeah, good afternoon, John. That's right. After recording 19 wins from their 39 matches in charge this season, co-coaches Cedric Kaze and Khalil Ben Yusuf have left their roles at Kaizer Chiefs following their end of their contracts. The statement also revealing that more announcements will be made over the next few weeks with regards to posts. In the playoff relegations, while we've seen Cape Town City lose their first encounter 1-0, Milford picking up all 3 points today. In cricket, the RCB batters have been relentless in qualifier 1 of the IPL against the Gujarat Titans. With an over and a half to go, they're 225 for the loss of 5. It's really been the captain, Patadar, who's hit 79 runs off of just 29 deliveries, a strike rate of 272. In tennis, the evening session at Roland Garros will feature some big hitters on court. That includes world number 1 Yannick Sinner, men's 4th seed Felix Auger-Aliassime, Victoria Mboko, Jessica Pegula, and Madison Keys. 3 South African franchises are still in the hunt for the URC, with the quarterfinals this weekend is seeing the Bulls entertain Irish side Munster. EWN Sports reporter Lennox Wasara filed this report from Loftus.
The Bulls head into their clash unbeaten in their last 4 URC matches and will be chasing a 4th appearance in the final. This time, though, there's a renewed belief under a new-look coaching team, with lock forward and veteran player Ron Nokia also set to reach a major milestone, running out for his 150th cap in Bulls colours in what promises to be a high-pressure encounter. After enjoying a bye last week, the Bulls will have fresh legs heading into Saturday's showdown. Captain Marcel Coetzee says there's a sense of calm and focus within the camp as they prepare for one of their biggest tests of the season. Lennox Wasara, Eyewitness News Sport, Loftus Versfeld, Pretoria.
And Ross Brawn is trading in 4 wheels for 2. The former F1 team boss, whose Brawn GP miraculously won the 2009 Constructors and the Drivers title, has joined a MotoGP outfit Pramac as a strategic advisor and board member. He was a track record of success everywhere he's gone throughout his career in Formula One. He was involved with 22 world titles and a key figure behind Michael Schumacher's golden era. Meanwhile, Ducati test rider Michel Pirro will be taking the seats of Alex Marquez for the next 2 rounds of the season in Italy and Hungary. Marquez was involved in a heavy crash in his home race in Spain, needing to undergo surgery for a broken right collarbone. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
16 minutes to 6. This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Delays out in Kempton Park. Here's Karabo Chali with the details.
Yes, John, that's heading towards OR Tambo International Airport. Heavy delays in Kempton Park, R21 northbound. This is from the R24 Barbara off-ramp all the way to Atlas Road. Still in Kempton Park, expect some delays. This is on Morafontein Road between Lorry and Zierfontein Road, while in Germiston traveling towards Alberton bumper-to-bumper traffic. N3 southbound, this is heading towards the Geldenes interchange due to an earlier accident. In Sandton, heading towards Midrand bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on the M1 northbound from Ethel Oaklands all the way to the Baclue interchange. Bryanston traveling towards Four Ways, traffic remains sluggish. N1 south from the Baclue interchange to Winnie Mandela Drive. Lenasia traveling towards Protea Glen. Expect heavy delays on the N12 westbound from the N1 to Klipspruit Valley Road. And finally in Hermanstad, leaving the Pretoria CBD, slow-moving traffic on Eskiam Pahlele between Wormhagen and the R80. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 48. Did I upload the updated version of the presentation? Oh, the anxiety. Well, with the Outsurance Pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So we began the show with sweets and treats and chips and snacks and cakes and all that kind of thing. As always, we're going to finish it off with something else that's also very sweet, both in terms of content and memory, music. So today we decided, we did the 80s a little while ago. Now we're going to jump a decade. Songs that say this was the 90s. Jonathan Fairbairn got us going with his selection. For people who might not have heard it earlier, what's the name of the song? Why, out of an entire decade, did you pick that one?
Yeah, this is just one of the many, many brilliant songs from the 90s. And I think I picked this one because it was my first sort of venture into punk rock genre.
Yes.
And up until that kind of point, I was 13 years old and I'd just gone to high school. And, you know, obviously different people, different influences. And this was my first inroads into punk rock. So it's the Offspring. And the song that we're going to play is called Self-Esteem.
Offspring, the Offspring, Self-Esteem. Quick one. Did you ever have a Mohican?
I had a brush cut.
Okay.
But that was from MacGyver, the TV show, not from these guys.
Oh, no, I heard you had a Mohican, but then it doesn't work with headphones. So once you got into radio, you had to dispense. But anyway, that's a myth. Let's enjoy this, the Offspring. Released in 1995, The Offspring with that song Self-Esteem. Jonathan Fairbairn's choice for the song that screams the 1990s. What are you going to send us? That's up to you, but here's the number: 072 702 1702.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
We don't know if the president is going to try and interdict the impeachment panel. So we don't know, as I understand it, if that part of the legal process is happening. What happens if he doesn't?
Well, if he doesn't, then they proceed in parallel. It creates the inconsistency that the panel report will be what is under consideration until such time as the review application is complete. I think we will have to wait and see. But if it goes forward in parallel, that is an inconsistent approach.
Professor Alex Farah here.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Calling all aspiring radio stars this June, 702 Afternoons with Relebohile Mabucha is bringing back Youth Takeover Thursdays. If you or someone you know dreams of being on air as a talk show host, newsreader, traffic reporter, or sports presenter, we want to hear from you. A select few will shadow the team, go live on 702, and walk away with a professional demo. Email 702afternoons@702.co.za with your details, the role you'd like to play, a short motivation, and a 1-minute demo. Applications close on 29 May.
The City of Johannesburg Executive Deputy Mayor, Councillor Loiso Masuku, invites you to tune in for the 2026-27 budget speech, theme Building Johannesburg Together, Investing Today, Securing Tomorrow. The budget outlines the city's plans to invest in Johannesburg's future. Watch live on the city's official social media platforms on Wednesday, 27 May at 12:30 p.m.
Managing your workforce shouldn't be complicated. That's why businesses choose Onacy, a proudly South African cloud-based payroll and HR solution. From payroll and e-recruitment to performance management and self-service tools, we streamline the way businesses handle their people. Scalable, secure, and always online, our system evolves with your needs because your workforce deserves the best. Switch to Onacy and experience payroll and HR done right. Visit onacy.com today.
Mzansi, the excitement is building. The 130th running of the Hollywood Bets Durban July takes place on Saturday, 4 July. This year's theme, Country Allure, draws from the richness of our land, a celebration of heritage, freedom, and style, inspired by our beautiful countryside. It's more than a race. It's where champions are made, stories are written, and greatness is unleashed. World-class horse racing, bold fashion, music, culture, and a day of endless excitement at Hollywood Bets Greyville Racecourse. Get your tickets now at Ticket Pro and release your glamour at the Hollywood Bets Durban July, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Ndade John, a song that says this is the 90s for me would have to be Shy, Come With Me. This song, you know that phase in your life when people come and walk out of your life because they have to pursue their dreams, and you just feel like you want to go out and...
Hey John, Sean from Springs, how you doing? 90s was a good decade of songs. How about My Name Is by Slim Shady? Anyway, that comes to mind. Have a wonderful week.
Excuse me. My name is Can I have the attention of the class for 1 second? My name is Hi kids, do you like Primus? Wanna see me stick 9-inch nails to each one of my eyelids? Wanna copy me and do exactly like I did? Try this and get messed up worse than my life is? My brain's dead weight. I'm trying to get my head straight, but I can't figure out which Spice Girl
My name is Eminem's second studio album, The Slim Shady. That came out, when did that come out? 1999, so just sneaked in time to be considered part of the 90s. What else? The Rockefeller Skank, Fatboy Slim, says Yori. Joseph, Everything I Do. Brian Adams, his selection of that absolutely quintessential 90s songs. Tutu goes rock for his choice and says, for the 90s song, one of them, REO Speedwagon with Keep On Loving You. And Perry, my 90s song is Can We by SWV. It reminds me of my matric year.
Hi John, most 90s song would be Faithless Insomnia.
And here we are, 3:30 in the morning. I can't get no sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a slow burner there. Faithless with Insomnia. Huge hit for them in the latter part of 1995. Songs that say this was the 90s. More of your messages.
Johnny, it's KB from Tembisa. My best song, my 90s best song, John, is a song by Mike and Mechanics. It goes like this, John. From the west side to the east side, from the north side to the south. Na 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 na. Here you go, Johnny.
Afternoon, John and the team. Music that spells the 90s and dawn of democracy in the country. I'm gonna stay local. My group is Mango Groove, and the song "Another Country."
Walk beside me, I'll tell you no lies, and then you'll see another country in my eyes. If we could reach beyond the bounds of blame and make history blind and peel away these embalmed words, this is all we'd find. A mother's cries, fear in an old man's eyes, a child's blood on the walls. No crueler price to pay, no harder way to fall. Another time, another place. Another country.
Another Country, Mango Group, released very close to our very first democratic elections, co-written by John Leyden and Alan Lazar, key members of the band, and of course vocals there by Claire Johnston. Songs from the 90s.
Good evening, John Perlman. Fredja from Benoni. One song that I thoroughly enjoyed was Livin' La Vida Loca from Ricky Martin. I haven't heard a few songs of him in a while, and I think this one is just such a lucky song from that era.
She's into superstitions, black cats and voodoo dolls. I feel a premonition, that girl's gonna make me fall. She's into new sensations, new kicks in the candlelight. She's got new addictions for every day and night. She'll make you take your clothes off and go dancing in the rain. She'll make you live her crazy life, or she'll take away your pain like a bullet to your
Living La Vida Loca, Ricky Martin, all the way from the 90s. A couple more. Neil, Motown Philly by Boys to Men. Letukile says, pump up the jam, not sure of the artist. That was Philly and Technotronic. And Chad, finally, my 90s song, Daft Punk, Aerodynamic. Thank you so much for being with us, for sharing your musical contributions, and for being part of 702 Drive. For me, John Perlman and the team, good night.
And now, The Money Show.
With Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa Business Banking. Payment habits have changed. Convenience decides the sale. Stay ahead with real-time payments, seamless checkout, and smarter fraud tools. Good evening. On Your Money Show tonight, government tries again with an AI policy. But as the Pope warns, we should slow down the adoption of AI. What role can governments really play? Our farmers deliver more good news as their exports jump 11%. The group that runs Avison Budget says they're selling more cars despite the huge traffic jam in the second-hand market. While the Bureau for Economic Research says cheaper cars are pushing out trade deficits with China and India to record levels. We'll investigate the case for an interest rate hike this evening, and from 7:30, the most important decision you'll make when you retire. All of that to come, but first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Good evening, I'm Buleng Make. The conduct of the chief magistrate who presided over the extortion case involving taxi tycoon Joe Ferrari Spagnoni has been drawn into sharp question by the NPA. The NPA has now lodged a formal complaint with the Magistrate Commission against Magistrate Tuletu Tonjeni. It says our actions on the day Spagnoni and his co-accused were released have sparked serious institutional concerns about the proper administration of justice. Tonjeni struck the case off the roll after the prosecutor failed to appear in court, effectively allowing Spagnoni and 3 others to walk free. The NPA says